Remind me to give you that good Wi-Fi connection. You have to
Fuck
meet up,
out of
man.
here. Fuck out of here.
You
Fuck out of
gotta
here.
get that FiOS, baby. You gotta get
Fuck
that
out of
FiOS.
here. Fuck out of here. You and
How was
you
your
and
day,
I, you
man?
and I, you and I had a fucking 6 hour Zoom, nigga. Shut the fuck up.
With no issues. With
With
no
no
issues.
issues. Cut it out. What's
This
goody,
joint
my
was,
G?
yo, what a
Never had a
wild
bad
day.
day in my life.
You already know, brother. You
Mister
already.
Never
What
had
is
a
your day,
bad
man?
day.
I
Yo,
was
my day
watching your
was so.
Instagram, yo.
I was wilding, bro. I had such a great, I had such an amazing day today. I had a meeting with some with a French and a German winemaker, bro. Like I just closed on a on an amazing, incredible venture that I'm doing with a French winemaker from Champagne, and the German dude represented a famous brand from a cognac brand from out there. So yeah, I'm happy, bro. I'm like,
Let's
um,
go.
yeah. You know some of that Stogie shit. You feel me?
Yeah. Yo, that's fucking dope, man. You know, you already know. What was I saying last night? I selfishly wish you all infinite success in the world.
Respect, King. Respect, King. You know what
So,
it is,
th-
man. Mm.
I want to get into this, right? I'm gonna do a little bit of because like I was in my bag last night on this 5K special, John. Right? I was
Yo,
feeling myself, and
congratulations. Hold on. Let me first
I
say
appreciate you, man.
congratulations, bro. You like yo, what a whirlwind ride, bro. Like you know what I mean? And I feel like you did it the right way too, bro. You didn't, you didn't pander to anybody. You didn't like, you didn't like yo, kiss ass. You just spoke your truth, man, and people it resonated with people and they fuck with that. And also, man, I think one of the most important things that you've done is really immerse yourself in like South African hip hop history, and I think everyone appreciates that. There's people who are from here who don't even understand and the context of South African hip hop like you understand it. And yo blessings to you, bro, because you
I
give and you
appreciate that.
get, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. And I did. It was a lot of work too. It was a lot of study, a lot of research and shit like that. And it was
Mm.
enjoyable too. You know, it was super
Imagine.
enjoyable. Like that's why I'm glad I got so much of it recorded live. Like if this was a year ago before the channel and everything like that, like it
Mm.
wouldn't have been like those moments wouldn't have been immortalized. You know what I'm saying? The first
Facts.
time, checking out all these artists and shit like that, and going through the whole old school wave. You know what I'm saying? And listen to
Absolutely.
a lot of the originators and shit. Like there was a lot of that stuff. A lot of those moments that are immortalized now are just like on the internet forever for people to go and find themselves like super fucking dope. And the projections are what's crazy, man. Like you know
Mm.
me, like you and I have talked like extensively as far as this marketing shit goes, family. And like my plan was to hit 1,000 subs in 2 years. That was the goal. The goal was give me 2 years, we'll put up the first 1,000 subs and get monetized. 5 months later, just under 6 months later, we're at 5,000 already with huge projects in the works right now. Stuff I would have never imagined was just like all coming to fruition, bro. Like there's a lot of crazy positivity going on, man.
Absolutely.
I'm working on I'm working on my champagne deal next. I'm gonna start one step at a time, man. One step at a
Let me
time.
tell you, what's funny about that is like so me working on a champagne deal. It ain't like it's not crazy, bro. It's not like I'm shooting beyond my. It's like yo, I really fuck with that shit. Y'all saw me every
Yeah,
weekend on
yeah,
Freestyle Live drinking shit. Like it's not like me trying to be something. It's like yo, it's like okay, cool, yeah. This resonates. This feels natural. This feels organic. You feel me? That's why it's so
right.
beautiful to me. It's like yo, I bet.
I said that's one of the first things I said to you. I said, "How do you not have a cigar and a whiskey deal?" That was that
Right.
was one of the first things I
Facts.
said. Like, yo,
Facts.
I would have had a Stogie deal before I changed the name, man. But I want to do a recap real quick, getting into this, right? Because for those that don't know, Stogie's actually been a part of my specials, my 1,000K, my 1K specials since the very, very fucking beginning. and it's so crazy how it happened. So like right around the time when we were hitting the first 1,000 is when I first hopped in your live. And yo, what a fucking wild ride that was, man. So this started off with Stogie just so happening to accept a request from a fan that came up in there, and I was like, yo, man, let me go on. These people are trash. And they're like, yo, you're that reactor guy. And I was like, yeah. I was like, but I will lay waste to this whole live. Like, let me go off. Let me do my shit, man. And that's really when it started. So that was like right around the 1K.
Yeah.
2K, I did a tribute. So that's when I started really digging into your music personally, right? And like you had a style, whereas like I was checking out a lot of the South African hip hop artists at the time, and a lot of it is like, cool, I can appreciate this for what it is, but it's not all necessarily going on my playlist. And then when I first started getting into yours, I was like, oh, here's a clean ass delivery. Here's someone who actually understands bar structure. Here's someone who understands how to change the tonality based on the actual vibe of the track. You know what I'm saying? And like put it all together. So then I started listening more and more. So the second one, the 2K special, ended up being a tribute for all your Freestyle Fridays. I took 5 Freestyle Fridays together, and we put them in. And that's when your mom seen it. And that's when you started telling me, yo. So then we did the 3K special. We did like a whole tribute to Mama Stogie. Everybody was showing love down in the comments and shit like that. That was super dope. What was the 4K special we just did? 4K special was the battle, Thesaurus versus Toomey. That was that got asked for a lot. So really? I figured, what? Yo,
these motherfuckers asked for that battle.
Bro, that's because they kept calling me a Stogie stan. They said I was a Stogie stan.
I appreciate your reaction on that battle too, because like, I mean, you know, I obviously lost, and I would never argue with anyone who says I didn't get bodied like 3-0. Like I definitely got 3-0'd, and but what I loved about that was like, you know, you still gave credence to a lot of my bars that people didn't even like look at, because obviously the headline is, yo, Stogie gets bodied. But it's like, right. Yo, did you see the shit I came with? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, you always get, I'm a battle rap fan first. You know what I'm saying? So like when we start entering into that realm of things, man, like I'm gonna catch what the average listener is not gonna catch. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be able to tell that tension that's there or not there, and the comfortability levels, and how all that stuff starts taking place and the stuff, because that's what I've lived in. I live and breathe that shit for 2 decades. You feel me? Like that's just the way it is. And now we're here, man, which is really dope the way it played out. I was just talking to PQ about it, because you and I already had the plan to do the interview at the 5K, and it just so happened to hit the week after we did PQ's interview on here. I was like, man. The universe just speaks sometimes, man. The universe just speaks sometimes. But we here now, yes, and a lot of people may not know that we talk like as much as we do. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's not public. Everything's not for everybody. So this isn't like a hey, let me get to know somebody interview. You know what I'm saying? This is like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is somebody that I respect, that I revere, that I look up to, but also someone that we have an open line of communication. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't like getting to know somebody like a lot of the other interviews are. So what I was thinking about this, and I was racking my brain, and I was like, what's gonna make a good interview? You know what I'm saying? Like how am I gonna get Stogie not to tell me that PQ should have did this instead of me? What's gonna be the angle that we go with here?
Yo, real talk, PQ should have done this instead of you.
She does an alright job for a female interviewer. That's fine.
Yeah.
There she goes. So like one of the things, I definitely want to get your side of the PQ interview story. I think that's going to be a hilarious follow-up to the first time she came up on you and she said you was ignoring her and giving her the sting eye. I'm going to let you defend yourself on that story. That's definitely something I want to touch on. But so like, what my thing about you, as far as like my like admiration and shit like that, outside of music, I've told you about this before. We've talked extensively about this, but it's always kind of been how I view your giving back to the community, right? How I see you interacting with the fans on Instagram, how I see you giving the up and comers a chance. And a perfect example is that, right? Look at when AKA hops in a live. you're sitting there like going and moving and like promoting, giving good feedback on his guys. My man comes in, his personality kicks in right away. The first thing out of his mouth, that guy was shit who was just on here. Get him the fuck. Like, there's a difference in how you maneuver and communicate with the community as opposed to other people who have equal or greater celebrity status. You feel me?
Right, right.
So like, that's always been something that I've admired about it. So I was like, what can we talk about that can also help people? What will make this an interview that'll make people want to go back and view it and be able to take a gem away from this that every other interviewer isn't going to ask you a million times about? You dig me? So I started thinking about the rebrand, and one of my favorite conversations that you and I had was when you had some decisions to make about going from Toomey to Stogie T, the incredible risk that was involved in that. When we were talking about the fan base percentages and who was going to stick versus who wasn't, and how it was ultimately tied to your happiness. Because not only was that such a powerful conversation for me getting to know you and getting to know to brand and picking your brain with all that, but it's not something that's exclusive to you. Everyone who wants to make it at some point is going to have to reevaluate, is going to have to see their whole situation and how it's all tying together and make those hard decisions sometimes, right? So I think getting you to speak on that publicly, and maybe pointing some questions into like, yo, what were the deciding factors to pull the trigger? I think we might be able to pull a super gemstone of a conversation out that could help up and coming artists and stuff like that, and use this as like a model going forward. How do you feel about that?
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. It's a great place to start.
Cool. So let's start with Toomey, right? Who is Toomey versus who is Stogie? Give me the breakdown.
So I suppose so because I came in the game kind of wanting to use the name that my mother gave me because I was like, yo, this is my story. I want people to understand that off rip, it's like it's about authenticity. It's about who I am. It's my perspective, seen from my lens. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to come with a moniker. I mean, I had a moniker before that, but kind of like as I started out and became an official artist and a recording artist, to me it was like, yo, I want to use the name my mother gave me because of those things. And so a lot of the things I would speak about in music, in my songs, were definitely coming from my perspective, my the way I view the world, and that's someone born in exile, someone born in Tanzania, because my mom and pops were you know fighting to change, for liberation, to change the country, and the consequence of being displaced as an African child, and all the things that, I never thought of my experience as non-South African. I just thought it was a different South African experience, definitely a South African experience, but different South African experience, and the journey began there. I think it served me well until I met, the band, To Me and the Volume, where it's like, okay, so now I have to represent three other voices that are not me. You feel me? That are not,
Right.
one's a guitarist, one's a bass player, one's a drummer. We had a violinist early days, who later, Carla Rose Smith, who later joined Freshly Ground, a very successful South African band. But generally, it was these three people who I had to consider as far as my messaging. So as much as, yes, I see the world through my view, but I have to represent this Jewish white South African who might have a more South African localized experience than I have, because I grew
Right.
up outside the country. You know what I mean? I have
Right.
to
Yeah.
represent this white and black Mozambican, these dudes who have a Pan African experience and an almost Eurocentric experience, and I have to represent that. So that taught me to be very, taught me about compromise, taught me about just being a voice, being an instrument in a band, being a big parts player, in a much greater whole. You know what I mean? In the
I mean, so
band.
this was like your first, that was like a first rebrand almost then, right? Because
Absolutely,
you're
absolutely,
changing the entire content at that point, right? Like the entire perspective of
absolutely.
the content.
Absolutely. So a lot of the songs that I first started doing with Toomey in the Volume were songs that I had written already as Toomey, but obviously the musicality changes, the things you bring into it change. I have to literally like start to self edit and go, okay, well, yeah, maybe this ain't it, and then also just kind of figure out what the value system of my bandmates are and do they align with what the fuck I'm saying. And once you
So
find
like,
that, they,
all right, hold on,
yeah,
stay on this. This is super dope. So stay on this then, because the same way I wanted to pick your brain about going from To Me in the Volume to Stogie T. Walk me through this decision making process, because this is big. Going from a solo artist to a
yeah,
band member, like you were literally just speaking on like how the entire mentality of artistry
it's
has to change
different.
because you're not just representing yourself.
Absolutely. I mean,
And
it's something.
in my experience, hip hop artists can be some of the most selfish people in the world. Like, because
Right,
you're used to it being like a me versus everybody. I'm the best. It's a competitive sport, and it's not
absolutely.
necessarily a team sport, right? So
Right.
walk me through this transition in your head of what made you decide to take that leap into a band, man. That's
Well,
big.
it's almost accidental because, I get called to an event that happens every month that has a house band. And when I mean house, I don't mean the genre. I mean a band that plays every month at that event. So they would have different artists perform with that band. So I did a couple songs with that band, and it just hit in a different way. You know what I mean? It was just like we just looked at each other and went, "Yo, this shit is forever. This shit ain't like one of those, yo, okay, yo, that was a nice jam session, gentlemen." It felt like, yo, we belong together. And from then on, it was like, yo, look, we're gonna practice every week, but what that did is, as you rightfully say, a lot of the stuff I was doing was representing me and my perspective. But as soon as the band came in, it was like there was this jostling and this kind of a fight, and this, not fight, but like, great tension between, okay, what the MC wants and what the music is dictating, right? And a lot of and so when you say competitiveness, to me, the competitiveness came from the band, where the band would play something and say, "You can't rap over this. You can't rap over this bossa nova groove, over this reggae joint, over this jazz shit." And my thing was like, "Oh yeah, hold my fucking beer." You know what I mean? And I was like, let's go.
Hold my cognac, hold my
Hold
champagne.
my,
What are you
hold my,
doing?
hold my yak, bro. Hold my yak, right? So that's where I was. So to me, that became that became the battle, the battle, the battleground for me. It was like, okay, yo, I'm not even worried about fucking other MCs. I'm doing a whole entire new thing now, bro. You feel me? I'm like, yo, I'm in a
Yeah.
whole different realm. I'm doing some new shit. So that was exciting, and it kept us going, and it was, it was challenging. It was it was
Did the concepts change? Because I know one of the big things that stuck with me from our last conversation is how like everybody thought that Toomey and the volume going to Stogie T was going to be this huge different sound. Like you were going to turn your back on talking your real shit and you were going to be commercial and blah blah blah. And
right.
like your big thing is like that didn't change. Like I'm still me. I'm still honest. Everything's still authentic. Did anything content wise change from when you were so? What was your solo moniker before Toomey and the volume?
Was just to me. Was just to me. So
Okay, so
before that,
just to me.
in the battle scene, or in a kind of League Club era before that, before I even recorded anything, it was like Fat Boy, right? But that was when I was a kid, and then it became like I was like, yo, yeah, I'm not a boy anymore, so I'm gonna be Toomey, right? And then after that, it was like, so there's this band, and so I mean, content. I think what I did is I universalized the content. So as much as it was my perspective, like, okay, so I'll talk about 76, but I universalized the message, the point of the song 76, people think 76, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the song, but in 1976, right, in June 16, 1976, there was a riot where the youth were angry at being taught in Afrikaans as a medium. So they were taught maths in Afrikaans, geography in Afrikaans, and they fought against that idea, right? And it was a pivotal moment in South African politics because what it did, it said, the kids basically stood up for themselves, and where they saw parents as part of the ruling class, as part of these people that were telling them to obey, so their parents were kind of complicit with their oppression, right? So
Yeah,
they,
I
they,
got
they
you.
so the youth found their voice in 1976. So it's an incredibly pivotal moment for South African history, right? And people think that song's about that. It really isn't. I just chose that moment because everyone knows about that moment. It's pivotal. But the song is about violence. The song is about how violence stays with us, right? The last line of the song is, and even after all my, and even after, like this guy shoots this cop, but even after all the smoke, I still got it worse, right? Like I still got it worse. Not the cop. The cop's dead, but I still got it worse because I have to live with the fact that I shot this guy. I have to live with the residual effects of the violence. You feel me? So I'm talking about
Yeah.
violence, but people think that song's about 76. 76 is just a backdrop to that song. And that's an illustration of how I had to universalize my subject matter to say, okay, look, everyone understands the effects of violence. You know what I mean?
Right,
Particularly,
right.
you know what I mean? Whether you live in Switzerland, the US, in China, you
Well, I
understand
was
that
about to
it's
say, this is right when you started touring too, then, right? Because you went
absolutely,
global. You went global with
absolutely.
the volume, right?
And it went global, for two fundamental reasons. One, the messaging was incredibly universal. It was something that you could pick up, even if you didn't understand the language or understand the nuances of the lyrical whatever miracles that I was doing, but you could still understand that, okay, this dude is touching on a very universal subject. And I did that precisely to represent the band and so that the band could stand and go, yo, I stand for that. I fuck with that. You know what I mean? So in the same way
Right.
that you and I might have differences, but if we're trying to achieve something, I would go, yo, okay, this is our meeting point. Let's focus on our meeting point. Let's not focus on the fact that I grew up in Tanzania and you grew up in Philly or you live in Philly. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean? So that's kind of some of the things that happened as far as content wise. I just kind of universalized the messaging
Got you.
of the content. Absolutely.
So how long were you rapping prior to me in the volume? What was the time frame?
Probably like 5, 6 years.
5, 6 years, and then how long were you with to me in the volume?
Oh man, 11, 12 years.
All right, cool. So now you have over a decade having metamorphosized your sound and learned how to become universal. You got to the point where within a decade and with touring and stuff like that, you're no longer just speaking to a local South African audience at that point.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've pretty much mastered at that point the idea of what is going to sit really well in a bar at the crib and what's going
Yeah.
to sit well on a radio internationally, right? So
And in
now
front of a stage internationally.
facts, yeah, and live, right?
Right.
So now you have that. So now what's the first sign, right? What's the first sign that To Me in the Volume is coming to an end and it might be time for another chapter for you to
Great
come out? Like
question.
what?
Great question. We had a booking. We had a booking in Brazil. Amazing booking, bro. Like one of those. Oh snap, son. Yo, we getting bag. We getting a bag right here. and and we can bring the wives, we can bring you know what I mean? We can bring, yo, it was like first class flights. It was lovely, right? The best time we had on that tour was shopping at the beach, 4 a.m. parties in an abandoned building with Brazilian, you know, women and guys,
Hey,
and just, you know what I
talk
mean?
your shit, King.
And the worst time we had was on stage playing the music.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And we looked at each other and we said, like, yo, I'm fucking tired of this fucking music. I'm fucking and obviously I mean we're professionals, so you know the crowd's like vibing and like, oh, these guys are amazing,
Right, right,
and we're
right.
just looking at each other like this shit is so tired, this shit is so exhausting. And usually, so you know, in the past stuff like that would happen where we just get tired of a set that we're playing. It didn't feel like that this time, and then we just obviously recalibrate, write new songs, right? But this time it didn't feel like that. It felt like it was done. It
It
felt
was
like we
done.
were tired, you know? And the beauty,
But it did. But there's a difference. Like it didn't die, right? Like, did you feel concluded? Like, did you feel like, yo, like we did what we wanted to accomplish with this project, with this band, or did it feel like,
I mean,
did you, do
ambitions.
you,
There was still ambitions. There was still some ambitions. Definitely, I won't. You know, you know, I want to represent the guys as well. Like there were definitely ambitions, for something greater. But we had done so much, and it was just the music, and we knew that like, you know, going back to the drawing board and rewriting the music was going to change the nature of what we were doing, and we just wanted to preserve it, and most importantly, preserve our friendship. Most
facts?
importantly,
I
because
see.
like I said to you, don't you know, it mustn't be lost to you that we had a fucking amazing time just hanging out with each other. You know what I mean? Just kicking it.
Facts.
But we had a fucking, you know, when it came to creating and doing our job felt like shit, and we didn't want to do it anymore. And you know, and thankfully, man, like I always say, I got to keep my friends, I got to keep my homies, and you know, if it's the band
Shout
that
out to them.
ends, you feel me?
Shout out to the
Absolutely. Shout
volume.
out to Dave.
Shout
Shout
out to
out to.
volume, man.
There is no volume. There is no volume. It's to me and the volume. There is no volume. There is no such thing as the volume. The
Got
band
you.
is to me and the volume. You feel me? So it's like, you know, it'll be like Mike and the Mechanics. I've never heard a Mechanics song. You know what I mean? It's Mike and the
Got you.
Mechanics. You feel me? Exactly.
Got you. Got you. Got
So
you.
yeah. So the band, you know, that was the band. It was me and the dudes, you know, or the dudes and me. And so when that ended, and again, like I announced it 2012, I think, and I was like, yo, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, and you know, I'm going to my man Dave's wedding. I'm going to this guy. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
it's not one of those terrible, you know, tragic things. It's just that, you know. But I had solo ambitions, which is, you know what's crazy?
Well,
You know
did that
we.
happen? Don't jump into that just yet, right?
I
So
got you. I
like,
got you.
because there's a thought process there, right? There
A
had to
little.
have at least been a conversation that you had with yourself, like, yo, is it done entirely, or is it like, am I doing the solo thing? Am I doing something else? Because I know for a fact that you have other business ventures that
Right.
you are interested in outside of music. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And like
Wow.
that building generational wealth, and you know what I'm saying, that entrepreneurism that exists there. So
Wow.
you have the label and everything like that.
Hmm.
Was the label started with Toomey and the Volume, or did the label come during the Stogie T era?
So the label started during Through Me in the Volume, and you know, so the only reason there were Through Me albums while I was with Through Me in the Volume is because we were doing so much touring that I was literally losing traction in South Africa. Like I was spending 6 months out of the country, right? People were like,
Right, right,
okay, yeah, there used to be this rapper called Through Me, oh, you know what I mean? So I would
right.
make albums, you know, you know, in between volume albums, solo albums, just to be like, yo, I'm still here. Yo, I can fuck shit up. You know, people keep asking me, can I rap over anything that's not a guitar? You know what I mean? Shit like that. And I'm like, yo, I got y'all, you know? So all the albums, Music for My Good Eye, Whole Worlds, all that shit kind of happened while I was a 2 minute volume, you know? And that always to me it was a function of like, yo, just to stay relevant in my country. You know what I mean? Because 2 minute volume was like was already considered like, oh, these guys are like, yo, the global, and you know what I mean? We never get to see them. And honestly it was because the ceiling for
Did
us in
y'all did
South.
y'all rep did y'all rep South Africa when
Absolutely. What do you mean, bro? The bands. Black Coffee told me. Black Coffee's manager, like a year ago, told me we were doing like a panel discussion, and he told me like, yo, he when he first did a tour with Black Coffee, every country they went to, they were asked, "Do you know Two Men the Volume?" You know what I mean? It's like, yo, do
let's
you know?
go.
You know what I mean? Till today, I get you get Black Rock. It's like, yo, dude, I just went to Montpellier. I've never been to the city in my life in France. And they were like, do you know to me? Do you know to me? You know what I mean? So trust me, bro. It was like South Africa, hip hop or all music, it's like yo, it's TATV. You know what I mean? I would venture to say like we're probably, it was Johnny Clegg, particularly in the European market. It was Johnny Clegg, who's like a legendary, may soul rest in peace, legendary South African musician. It was Johnny Clegg. It was Do Me in the Volume, and then like some other groups that like we really tore up Europe, bro. We really did our thing, and we repped super super hard.
That's
But
awesome.
but and I think for me, like you asked the question, was it like a thought process? Yo, man, I was backstage in the dressing room, sitting next to Shakira, watching Shakira tell me she has a yeah.
Small flex.
Little
light,
flex, little
light
flex,
flex.
weird flex. I'm sitting in the green room with Shakira. Shakira's telling me, "Yo, I got a person for my shoes. I got a person for my hair. I got a person for my face. I got a person for my vocals. I got a person for my backing vocals. I got a person for my band. And I'm listening to her, and I'm going, you know what? I thought I'd done it all. I've been doing this shit for like 10 years. I thought I'd done it all. And I looked at her, and my dude Kanan, who was opening for me when I first went to Canada, he's telling me, yo, man, I'm going to Jamaica. I'm going to go record at Tough Gone Studios with Bob Marley, did this album. And I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, there might be another level to this shit. There might be another level. And will I be shitting on my talent? Will I be spitting on my God-given talent that God gave me if I don't completely try to at least try to completely, excavate and mine the contents of my talent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Can I let this shit go and go get a desk job after I do this shit happy? You know what I mean? And I thought, nah, I won't be happy until I get that Shakira feeling.
So this is that Shakira feeling. That's gonna be a forever thing now. Yo, that Shakira feeling. No one, they gonna have to reference this interview just to go back to
Right?
that
It's
to
like,
see where that
yo.
came from. Get that Shakira feeling. What was he talking about? So like, so this is interesting because now you already had the label, and you're on record already saying that like one of the things about being like a label owner, and one of the things about having a label is that it's not all about you anymore. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you have to make the decision. Was it going to be you or was it going to be Reason? You know what I mean? Like is it going to be you or is it going to be Ricky? Is it going to be you or is it going to be the next person that comes out? Right?
Mm,
But
mm.
this is also you're now going to revamp and relaunch your own individual shit too. So like, what entrepreneur brain that's going off right now, right? So like, the label is in existence. 2 million volumes coming to an end. Who was on the label at that point that you were now going to become a competitor again? Like what was that mentality from like a label head positioning? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
coming into that, like
So the label, the label portion, right, was like I I I I just felt like the artist had to take a back seat, except when it came to like co-signing and putting some, if Two Minute Volume gets this amazing dope festival gig, I'm bringing Reason, right? I'm bringing
right.
Zaki Ibrahim. So, in that regard, yeah, there was definitely that kind of like, yo, I still got to be healthy so that I can co-sign and put these people on. But in general, I wasn't actively pursuing a solo career as much as I was trying to be like, yo, I'm gonna make this motif record shit pop. It's gotta pop. You know what I mean? And so my focus was, like the name started losing a little bit more traction, like, and obviously the band was done, and so it just became motif focused. I was living in the studio. I was an A&R for Motif Records. I was developing artists. I was finding new artists. I was helping out new artists, discovering others. Others just kind of helping on the side. You know, You mentioned AKA, before. AKA was an artist that, a homie of mine was managing, but I definitely was like, yo, I want to see this dude pop off and be successful. So there were things that we were doing in the back, in the background where we're like, yo, I'm gonna definitely put him on. Yo, I'm going to do this show. Definitely, yo, bring him on. Let's do this. Yo, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Just because I thought the value system was the same. And I was like, yo, I like this dude, and I think he's talented enough to get a shot. And so I was doing a lot of that.
So
And
Stogie T gave AKA his career. That's going to be the headline. Stogie T claims he put on AKA.
I ain't
I
claiming
can't
nothing.
I can't
I
wait
ain't
for the
claiming
tweets
nothing.
after this one. The tweets after this one are going to be
I ain't
crazy.
claim I ain't claiming nothing. I'm just telling you my story, bro. I ain't claiming nothing. I'm just telling you my story, man. I
Hold
remember, I
on.
remember, I remember, I remember. Casper said at the awards, he was like, "Yo, do me, you ain't do shit for me, you know." And I was like, "Yo, I never said I did anything for you, bro. I just said you were in my studio recording this song and that song. You were on a Motif Records compilation where you did a song. You know what I mean? It's like you and Ricky were both there. I mean, I'm not claiming your success. I'm just saying this is my story. If your
Just
name
stating
comes up,
facts.
yeah, if your name
Just
come up in
stating
my
facts.
story, it's my story, bro. You know." But yeah, shout out.
PQ just asked, what's up with Motif Records right now? What does it look like, and what is its like primary function right now?
Are you kidding? Motif Records just dropped two singles with Benny the Butcher and Nasty C. What you talking about,
Talk
PQ?
about it, King. Talk
What you
about it,
talking
King.
about? What you talking about, PQ? Act
Did
like you know.
they did okay on the charts? They did all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, yo, don't know's highest like radio play was like number three. What is it? Animals is like top 10 songs in the country. You know what I mean? As far
Let's
as
go.
radio is concerned.
Let's go.
Yo, I don't know. I don't know if you hear Benny the Butcher on radio in the U.S., but I hear Benny the Butcher on radio in South Africa, bro. You feel me? That's
Ben,
crazy to me.
that's Benny's one of the ones where you know how people looked at Styles and the Locks when they were coming up, and they were just like, "Yo, he's never gonna get on the radio because he's too real, he's too street, he doesn't compromise, like yada yada." Like that's kind of the way Griselda's looked at over here right now. Griselda's
Yep.
like the new Locks as far as like the attitude and the image and the bars and content and shit like that goes. They haven't been they haven't been commercialized. They haven't, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't sell out. You know what I'm saying? Like they're still true and authentic and shit like that with their street credibility and their position in hip hop right now. I think
I, and their
they're not the
position is
richest.
crazy. And their
Yeah,
position is crazy. They're well
yeah.
respected, right?
Facts. They're like the street gatekeepers right now
Right.
between what's real and phony in like gangster
Absolutely.
hip hop. And like
Absolutely. And they're
and
on
it's not just
radio
that too.
in South Africa.
And they're
I'm
on
trying to
radio in
tell you.
South Africa.
And they're on radio in South Africa. Everyone thought I was fucking crazy putting Alonda Rich to sing a hook on, with Benny. Everyone thought it was gonna be this grimy. I'm like, nah, I got a plan. I got a plan,
That
and
shit was
now
smooth
it's
as fuck, bro.
absolutely, bro.
And it
Absolutely.
was what's her name? Alonda Rich. Alonda
Alonda
Rich.
Rich. Shout out to Alonda Rich.
Yo, shout out to Alonda Rich. That she killed the shit. The entire ambience of that Animals track, it made you feel like you was in a three-piece suit with three fingers of
Facts.
whiskey and a cigar while that shit was going off, man. Like
You
that
have
shit
no
was
idea
fucking
what the
nasty,
video's
man.
gonna look like. The video's gonna look like, yo, it's a movie, bro.
There better be a tiger. There needs to be a tiger for some reason, man. Put your
There's
feet
there's
up. Feet
there's
up on a
dra-
live tiger.
there's dragons and
This
dinosaurs.
dragons. Let's go, man. Yo, like I'm here for all this shit. I wish numbers. Oh, there might like who was it you had on the Empire Sheep's album on Nobody's? Who did the
Oh,
hook on Ayanda? Ayanda?
Ayanda Gia. Ayanda Gia.
Yo,
She a vocalist from IAM.
she bodied the shit out of that track.
Facts,
That's
big facts, big
like
facts.
yo, you have a good female vocalist selection when it comes to those like setting the mood on those tracks. because
So
like she
that's
made that joint. I love you to death. You're my guy. She made that
Nah,
joint,
absolutely.
bro.
So that's a function of Tune Me in the Volume. That's what I've learned from Tune Me in the Volume. It's like, I used to say to Reason all the time, right? I used to say, yo, don't stop leaning on your verses, bro, to be the most interesting thing in the song. Make the fucking
Mm.
song interesting. Make the song fire. Like the verse is the cherry on the top. The verse is when the people go, I okay, this is a great vibe. Let me listen to the verse. And then when they lean in, they go, oh my God, what is he saying? You feel me? But like
You
from
got to
from
get bought in before you said a word. They're already bought in before you
Absolutely,
said a word.
absolutely, bro. So for me, it's
Okay.
like that. That's Tune Me in the Volume. That's all I learned from Tune Me in the Volume. The musicality and that's why I always laugh at people going, Stogie always just rapping these dictionary bars. He can't really make music. I'm like, what are you fucking saying, bro? What
So
are you
like, do you
saying?
have an issue? Do you have the issue? I bring everything back to Button. That's just the that's how the conversation goes with me, right? So like when I hear people talk about Button and people will say similar shit where like, oh, the pump it up guy, right? Like
Mm,
it's very similar. Like, do you think that they just haven't heard? Because like one of the things I've come to find about you is specifically on the YouTube channel. Shout out to the GS gang down in the comments. Is like I keep finding new shit. I haven't even gotten to a lot of the albums and like the
yeah,
official music because you
right.
got so many sneaky projects that are out there that are like these big, like over extravagant, crazy feats of music that I feel like so many people like just don't they must not know about. I had so many people come on and whether it's like the old school shit like you was on the heavy eight John or whether
Right,
it was like the Toomey and the Chinese man, that whole
right.
fucking thing was like I had so
Oh,
many people
God,
like, yo,
right,
how have I never seen this? How have I never seen this? How have I never seen this? Do you
right.
think that's why? Do you think you're getting you're just a dictionary rapper because they haven't found the content?
Yeah, I think a lot of obviously a lot of people. I mean, there are people who think Stogie T is like a new rapper, and you know I suppose if you're thinking of you're thinking 5 years ago, you might say yeah he's a new rapper, but generally it's like yo nah bro, there's a whole world of music that you can explore, you know the the the, the journey that got me to where I am, but it's also like I wasn't so concerned for the most part until Stogie T. I wasn't concerned with like getting known. I was just concerned with making music. It's only with Stogie T where I was like I said, the Shakira effect. Where I was like, nah, y'all gotta know me. Y'all gotta know me. Y'all
Right.
y'all, y'all ain't gonna relegate me to the backdrop. Like yo, I'll say something to you that might be controversial, and I know my team
Let's
is like,
go. That's what we're
I,
here for. All right, everybody, get the pen and paper out. Let's
I
go
know my
ahead.
team. I know my team is like worried right now. They're going, oh fuck, here we go with this bullshit. But I tell you something that's like so I feel like the minute people start saying yo OG yo now okay
Group
yo
man.
yeah Grootman, there we go, yo this is the top 10 list. Let's not include Stogie's not in the top. We already know what T does. Let's not include him in the top 10 list because he's over there.
Mm.
I feel like what they're doing is they're othering me, right? They are marginalizing me. You feel me?
Okay.
And the only way for me, I felt the only way, like so, it's safe to say Double HP is the GOAT. It's safe to say
Okay.
Pro Kid's the GOAT because Pro Kid's not here. Because
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I mean,
Right.
and rest in peace to them. And you know what? I think Pro Kid's the GOAT. I think Double HP definitely, if you say Double Jabba's the
You
GOAT, I'm not fighting with you. I'm not arguing with you. You feel me?
you know
But
what this is though. You know what this
yeah,
is. You're a Biggie fan. You already know, man. Like you're
yeah.
nobody until somebody kills you,
Somebody,
man. Like
right,
that's
right,
nobody gets their flowers nowadays while they're still here to smell them. Is one of the
right,
biggest issues that I have. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
that's what
Absolutely.
that like for real.
and as someone who's alive and someone who's still competitive, who's still passionate, who's my thing is okay. So what are the things you use? Oh, okay. So you use the hits, okay, the hits, the charts. You use what celebrity, and then you use wealth
Facts.
as things to disregard me, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna go take care of these three, and then let's see if you're and let's see if the other dudes that you got on that list can take care of the shit that I can do what I can do. You feel me?
Hmm.
Can they rap like like they from Mars for fucking six weeks straight? You know what I mean? Every Friday. Can
Talk
they
your
do that?
shit.
You know what I mean?
Talk your
And
shit.
and 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 and,
That
and that's
resume looking crazy.
it's
That
not.
resume looking crazy.
Look, and again, I'm talking crazy because it's you, right? And it's a fucking Saturday, fucking. You know,
Been drinking champagne for 10
I've been
hours.
drinking champagne for fucking. But for real, I just feel like it's like, I I, I really felt that's the Shakira effect. I just felt like in order to completely exhaust the talent that I feel like I was blessed with, I have to aim, I have to shoot as far as I can. And I'm not saying I'm not saying I want to compete with cats, but I just want to negate the little things that you use to 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 marginalize, you know what I mean? To marginalize
So
people,
let's.
you know what I mean?
I feel you. I want to put some words in your mouth since there's a lot of stuff that you can't say. I understand that, right? But like, if I'm you, right, and I'm put in that position, the way that you're talking about this, right, is like people are gonna hate you for whatever reason they're gonna hate you.
Yeah,
But it's like I'm not gonna give you the out, right? I'm not gonna give you the oh you ain't got the money. I'm not gonna give you that out. If you're gonna
nah,
talk shit and you're not gonna put me where I belong, you're gonna have to admit what it is, and it's just that you're hating. And
yeah,
like because you like I will body bar for bar, put me up against your top five bar for bar.
right,
You talk about wealth, you talk about accolades, put me up, put my accolades up against theirs. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? And then if they're still not willing to put you where you belong at this point, you got to call it what it is. That's all. You got to just put the fact that you're hating at that point for
Yeah,
whatever the reason is. You're biased or you're taking all their excuses, all their outs away,
yeah,
which is which is definitely the harder route to do because it's way easier to just cry about it, right, than it is to
yeah,
go out there and then get it. And a lot of
absolutely.
people couldn't if they want to. We started talking about this in the group chat. I told you like everyone's either there for like the skill mastery, the wealth, or or the fame, and it's like not everybody is out for all of them. And it sounds like you made that decision at some point where it's like, yo, if this is your measure, if this is your tool, if this is the barometer that we're gonna go with, you just decided to attack all of them then.
Yeah, I just gotta. My thing is, look, I might not be the wealthiest, I might not be the most famous, but I want to tick the boxes where people go, oh yeah, I know who's. I mean, here's a great metric. If you ask everybody for their top five,
We about to cut off. You want to hop off, hop back in?
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we got 20 seconds.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm gonna just hop off, hop back in. I'm just wait the seconds out. This all gets edited out anyway. Shout out to the GS gang. Everybody's welcome back.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo. G said, one of my guys said I got to ask you about making the first season of The Hustle available on YouTube.
All right. Yeah, the problem with that thing is, it was, we didn't own it. So, production company, a friend of mine owned the production company that did it for the channel. And so, it's not up, it's really not up to us.
Gotcha.
It was important. It was important season two. I'm glad you spoke about the first season because that's where Shane Eagle was on. That's when Quick Fast Kaz was on. That's when Big Star Johnson was on. That's when Jimmy Wiz was on. That's, you know what I mean? Like really like pivotal moment in the culture. And
That's dope.
the only reason you got real ones come out of that show, and it didn't play out like Idols. I mean, can you even remember three people who won Idols? You probably can't, right? And we
Nah,
were
I
like,
was.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And we were
That's
like, yo, we
nah.
ain't trying to do that kind of show. We trying to really, be a feeder to the industry and feed it to the game and be like, yo, our names are attached to this thing. Me, AKA, and Cooley. So we were like, yo, we don't, we ain't trying to. We're really trying to build some careers out of this experience, and I think we did that.
Cool. So one of my this leads into what we were just talking about too. But this is like I would much rather have this conversation with you and have this be cemented because as somebody who has dove headfirst into South African hip hop, and I've gotten in really cool with a lot of the artists too. Like you've seen it, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
got good relationships with a lot of cats out there now too. That like I really want to see them be successful. Like
Right.
I genuinely want to see them meet whatever their goals are. You feel me?
Mm.
What my biggest critique so far overall for South African hip hop artists is that the marketing is so scattered. Like I shouldn't have to scour the YouTube. Like for you, for instance, one of the first specials I ever did for your music was John Henry J Tree, who's in here, found your Cold World performance on the Urban Sessions, John, right? And he gave me like the timestamps for the isolated Cold World performance, and we did a review on that. And that ended up being one of the dopest tracks that I fucking heard. Period. Like like performance and everything like that included and everything like that.
Right.
But the only way to find something like that was to go on this one obscure Urban Sessions jaunt between this minute mark and this minute mark, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and like that's it. Like, if I didn't go and find that, or he didn't go and find that, rather, like, there's a good chance that that just goes forgotten. Same thing with the Toomey and Chinese man. They're like, there's a lot of material out there, but there's no HUD. There's no like, hey, if you go to my YouTube page, you'll see all the shit that I'm involved with. And then my handle is the same on Instagram as it is on Twitter. Go follow me on there too. So like anybody who wants the SteveBussaGS experience and where all that stuff is, you just it's easy. You just go there and you grab it. A lot of the artists, if not all of them, there's no universal HUD. There's no everything that I have is in one place. So if you're a fan of me, go here and it's all visible. Like most of the stuff that I go on YouTube too, like even if you watch the reactions, it's not on their page. It's not on the artist page that I'm listening to the music. It's fans uploading shit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it difficult as a fan of that artist to be like, hey, everyone go subscribe here so that we can now judge how popular they are or are not and like take a marketing strategy to growing them out, which is really what I'm all about, is using my platform to help grow out an artist. But if I don't know what to shout out, like if there's no universal, like hey, their measure of success is their Instagram page. Go follow on Insta. Their measure of success is the YouTube page. Go subscribe to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So that, like
Right.
you can watch that grow. And it's been universal. I haven't really found anybody that has all their eggs together to where they're easily searchable, to where they're, you know what I'm saying? Like the search engine optimization, they have like keyword domination over any genre. Like I haven't found a single artist like that. Whereas like type the word Dreamville, type the word Dream somewhere, and like all the like everything is universal. You know where to go for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that, it's less of a question, more of an observation. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
look,
like,
it speaks to two things, right? One is the industry is incredibly localized. So
okay,
so the focus is pretty much the focus for a long time, even leading up to COVID-19, has been traditional media, traditional local media, right? So people, there's a circuit that they work as far as media is concerned. There's a the kind of tried and tested. Go to the store or find me on every streaming platform. Websites, people don't really value websites because people aren't really thinking globally, right? And so it becomes like you say problematic when there isn't a hub where you can find an artist's stuff.
speaking personally, I think for me the biggest issue was always the iterations. The Stumi and the volume, which was generally a global band that you know that had a great you know a footprint in primarily Europe, and then there's Stumi, who's a local MC who is working in the South African market and not doing a really great job at it, but still kind of existing in it, and and then there's all the stuff that the collaborative stuff that I do with, like, whether it's a Chinese man, or it's like a Jamaican ska band, or an American or Canadian. You know what I mean? Like, there's all, so that I think, and also like kind of ring fencing that stuff and going, well, I mean, for instance, the journey, the album I did with Chinese Man had no legs here because I was like, we just ring fenced it and we're like, yo, this is I'm doing this shit for the French market or the global market, but not really for SA, because SA is not even, they're not even fucking with this. I could tell you right now, we didn't even pursue a licensing deal or anything in South Africa because we're like, this shit ain't even gonna, it's not even gonna make a mark out here. So,
Do you still feel that way?
Not so much with Stogie T, because I mean a couple things. So my ambitions are definitely global with Stogie T, right? And maybe less Europe and more North America. Uh, and so I don't still feel that way. But also, you know, things have changed. Watching like things like Nasty getting the deal, Elaine getting the deal. You know what I mean?
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. Show my Josie getting some traction. Musi Swana with the Beyonce, Black is King album. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Like, there's a
right.
lot of cool shit that's happening. That's like, it's people. I mean, when I took a meeting with, with Rock Nation, or with what is it? What is Puffy Sting? Oh man.
Bad boy.
No, the media company that he does.
Revolt.
Revolt. Yeah, when I was at Revolt offices, and the only reference to African music was like, what's his name, Davido, from Nigeria, and I was like, it was so hard for them to understand that, like, yo, nah, I rap, like rap, like, like Jada Kiss, you know what I mean, like yo, like Pusha T, that's me, I rap, and they were like, what? But you from Africa? And it's like, oh God, you know what I mean? Whereas now it's a little easier, not easier, but it's like at least there's a Southern African reference. Nasty is a Southern
Right.
African reference. You know what I mean? That all these
So
it's definitely
that's your Eminem. That's your that
right,
now.
right. Yo, right,
Now that they
right.
know white people can rap, yo.
Right, exactly. So, so yeah, it's definitely changed. And look, you're right about, like, but that there isn't a centralized hub for this kind of shit. But I tell you, for the most part, it's because the South African hip hop industry is incredibly localized. So ain't nobody worried, ain't nobody thinking about you, bro. No one's even thinking that you exist. No one's even
Right.
thinking, like, all these reactions, these
How do we
YouTube
change
reactions.
that? How do we change it?
Um, I like this. I think like this, like, just, I mean, that's why the YouTube reactions get so much traction, because people are going, what the fuck? My favorite rapper from Pretoria is getting love in, like, Wisconsin or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, he's getting a reaction from some kid in Cincinnati. So that's fucking with people, and making people aware. And also the Nasty thing is a big thing again, because it's making people aware that, like, yeah, but Trevor Noah as well. Those are things that make people go, okay. So there's a big, Black Coffee. There's a bigger world than just our localized scene, and that might get people thinking a little bit differently, which is so weird to me as well, because as much as the industry is so localized in South Africa, we are forced to compete with Beyonce and
Right.
Eminem. You know, which is so
Right.
weird to me. It's like,
Facts.
so you motherfuckers see that we're competing. We're literally competing. I'm competing with the baby, but in my own country. But you still don't understand that like this shit could be global. How can you
Facts.
not? You know what I mean? So
I think I want to make that part of my mission. I think I want to take a lot of these artists that I've been interacting with, that I'm developing these relationships with, and shit like that, and like even the up and coming artists too. Like it's harder to get through to an established artist who's set in their ways because so many people don't have the student mentality. So many people are not looking to maximize, to min max. You know what I'm saying? Like their output, and that's why they get stuck where they are. But even if you look at, like, shout out to the Clash MC Battle League. If you look at the cats who are rapping in Cape Town right now,
yeah,
who are literally like the grassroots of everybody that's coming up, they're moldable, man. Like you can teach them how to have all of their eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? How everything should link back to a YouTube page, and then you can monetize the YouTube page so you can start making some money off of this. You can teach them how to make a Patreon. You can teach them how to literally like capitalize off of this stuff. And I don't think it takes too many people to do it successfully for others to realize, like, oh shit, maybe this is important. Like the first time one of these young cats who aren't established start making more money off of a Patreon page than an established artist is with a deal, like you're gonna see people's tunes start changing. And like that's one of the things that I want to do, especially like for the people who are willing to listen. You know what I'm saying? Like my background's marketing. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like you and I, you already know. But like to see business and music collide in a way that supports the artist instead of the label, I think you see that with the budding podcast as far as podcasts go right now, with everything's going on. I think you see that if you can read through the stuff that's going on with Kanye, with the masters and everything like that.
Right.
I think.
Right?
Yeah, it's all about ownership. It's all about like actual representation and market share for putting in the work. You can't expect somebody to put in the work, and creators are just the foundation of the entire music industry. That what was it? They get like 12% of the revenue.
Yeah.
12% of the revenue. That was, I think that was quoted from like 2019 or 2017 or something like that. Like it's absolutely insane. So I like seeing shit like this that puts the power and the money more than anything back in the artist. And there's your barometer for people who are actually dope. Like you're gonna hate this. This is where me and you, we can go to clash with this again. But like, so for those who don't know, Stogie says to me the other day, I think it might have been yesterday, I don't know. One of his life missions. That's not bad. That's not bad. Life missions is to prove that there's such thing as objective dopeness, right? So this is going to be, we're going to be talking about this for the next 10 years. I guarantee it. This is a conversation that's going to breed a lot of good hip hop talk, a lot of good grounds for critique and grounds for comparison. There's a lot that's going to come from that. What I would wager or argument or start with it is something like a pay per platform, right? Like a Patreon or something like that. As much as you may judge something from a English teacher standpoint, and you can, like, that's objective. That is objective. If you're saying like, hey, I write better similes than you because if you look at it on this paper, this is like, look at the rhyme schemes, look at the A, B, like look at how I do versus what you do. But then that person can turn around and be like, yeah, but I got 50,000 Patreon and I make X amount of that. Like, it's the age-old talent versus money, except the next wave, the money's not going to be going into a label's pocket. The next wave is going to be the money actually going into the artist's pocket directly. And I think that's what's going to be important. I don't think you and I argument is ever going to be over. I don't think there's ever going to be a definitive answer on what is objective dopeness. Is it the actual ability? Is it the marketability? Because, like, capitalism dictates that the market will always speak. What is dope is always going, like that's what the market is going to be there for. As much as you may hate Drake, right? There's no denying that Drake is the most marketable fucking artist in the world right now, and everything that he touched turned to money. You may think he's a cornball. There are people who are still stuck up on the Degrassi kid. You like wheelchair Jimmy? Like actually, like there's always gonna be those people, right? But it's one of three things, man. We talked about this. It's either the fame, the fortune, or the skill. And it's like, what is your actual goals and shit? Like, I see you shaking your head. Go ahead, get your shit off, King. Let's go. Go off. Your people ain't watching this.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
Let's hear it.
Bishop! So one of my favorite skits in hip hop was Wyclef Jean's The Carnival album. He had a court case, and there's this one Caribbean guy's like,
You're muffled. You're
Bishop!
muffled. You're
Can you
muffled
hear
right
me?
now.
So,
I
can you hear
can
me?
I can hear you, but you're muffled.
Really?
Yeah,
Can you-
I can't hear you at all now.
How's
No
that?
volume.
Nothing?
Just stay with it. Now you're cool. You just sound far away. Go with it. Rock out. It's not that bad. No volume. No volume.
How's that? How's that?
Good. 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 Good.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, one of my favorite skits is Wyclef Jean's The Carnival album, where he's got this court case, and there's this Caribbean dude talking, and he's like, Bishop, Bishop, and the guy's like, Your Honor, this is what I'm talking about. Who is this Bishop? Bishop, Bishop, not too fast. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And I'm gonna call bullshit on everything you said. Oh
Go
my God,
ahead.
that took
Go
too
ahead.
long. Dope reference though. Go check out Wyclef's album, The Carnival. This will be your favorite part of this fucking podcast. Oh, this live. So yeah. So here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that there is such a thing as objective dopeness, right? In the same way, so it becomes about what you value, right? So if we say, yo, this guy sold more than the other guy, that can be quantified. There's empirical data for that. Yes? Right.
Facts.
Right. This guy generated more money than this other guy. There's data for that.
Facts.
Like you said, if it's about similes, okay, let's use similes. If it's about metaphors, if it's about rate of punchline per verse, okay, let's use that, right? But
Facts.
for me, I'm saying, that's those are details that I don't think you even have to get to, right? I think so. MC Hammer outsold 50 Cent.
Facts.
I mean, no one's talking about fucking MC Hammer in any list or anything. You know what I mean?
Unless you bring that up,
Unless
because
you
if you
bring
start
them, yeah,
if you
yeah.
start talking about that metric, he will be brought up.
And also,
100% will.
no one should call me on that. I'm just using it as an example. I don't know if
I got you.
Hammer actually outsold 50, but he definitely outsold Tribe Called
A
Quest.
lot. Right.
Exactly, right? Yeah, unless you bring that up, you go, okay, so, so how valuable is that as a metric? To me, I use that as an example to say, how valuable is that as a metric, right? I think it's about the ratio of boxes ticked. I think it's about the ratio of boxes ticked. It's like, okay, was he commercially viable? Tick, good. The first thing my mama always told me was, don't take advice. When I said I'm gonna be a rapper, she said, don't take advice from anyone who doesn't make money from this shit. So and what I took from that was, okay, she wants me to understand the 360-degree, the whole thing, right? So I gotta be able to make art that makes me sleep at night, but also be able to feed my kids. Got you. All right, that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
gotta
no,
tick
no, no.
that
We're
box.
there.
So I gotta tick the box of commercial viability. That's why I always laugh when everyone's like, Stogie's not a commercial rapper. I'm like, motherfucker, the day I got a fucking barcode on the first thing I released, I was a commercial artist. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Let's
The day I
talk
got a
definitions,
envelope, you
baby.
know what
Let's
I
talk
mean?
definitions.
The day I got a paycheck in the mail, or you know what I mean? Like, I've been a commercial artist longer than some of y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
So
you know what they mean, though. You know what they mean when they say commercial artists. They mean there's you
I'm
have
not
to
I'm not
define
I'm
the
not sure
words.
I'm not sure they know what they mean. Is what I'm
That's
saying.
fair.
So
That's fair.
tick box. You have to be commercially viable. Tick box. You have to you have to have you have to have some kind of originality that shakes the game, that brings something new to the table that we haven't seen. Check, right?
Right.
Where you're like, oh shit, I've never heard anyone do it like that. Check.
Facts.
And that might be the fact that, oh, you're the first white guy we're willing to listen to as a rapper or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Right.
because right. You might be so, like, your imagery might be so fucking amazing. That's why lists, we spoke about this. Lists are so important to me, like top 10 lists or whatever of your favorite rappers, because that becomes to me an aggregate. It becomes a composite of all the things that you value as a listener, right? But also, I can pick apart anybody's top 10 list and go, yeah, but that guy's shit. That guy's trash.
Because
You
you
know what I'm
don't
saying?
value people's opinions when it comes to these fucking lists, man. And
That's not
this is
true.
where.
That's
Come
not true.
on,
That's not
man.
true.
Come
That's not
on.
true.
'Cause you, by saying there's no such thing that there's no such thing as subjectivity, like because you went on a
No,
rant about
I'm
it,
not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm
or
not
that
saying
someone's
that.
opinions doesn't matter. Like I'll give you
It
an example
does.
that you can't deny. So check me out, right? When it
Okay.
comes to not having objective dopeness, to there not being that, to like because art is subjective, right? Art in general, art is open to interpretation and it is subjective. Look at like the very base form of art. Have you ever like are you a painting guy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not. So when I look at this fucking painting, right? Most of the shit, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking. This looks dumb to me, but this sells for $15 billion. But to me, this looks like you couldn't pay me to hang this in my house. This looks like
Right.
the dumbest shit in the world, right?
Right.
So that's no different than like you are as valuable. This is the capitalism as your market dictates you are. You might be the hottest objective rapper in the world, but if you walk into KOTD and you're bringing material that they're not looking to accept, you're gonna flop. Like it's good. Like do you see what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna be on anybody's top 5 list in that
You're
scenario,
saying
despite you objectively having better
we're
material.
saying we're saying different things, Steve. You're saying different things. You're conflating things. Listen. So what I'm saying that is I'm not going to go with Steve's opinion on art because Steve don't know shit about art.
I agree with that 100%.
You feel
100%. We're on
me?
the same
And
page.
I'm saying
100%. 100%.
and I'm saying those that know about art can tell you when something is objectively dope or objectively whack. And that's not what we're talking about. So in the same way that someone can say, yo, I wish it was a little bit taller, I wish it was a baller, is the hottest hip hop song ever,
Fire.
right? I'm not saying I don't allow you to have that opinion. Have that opinion.
You
Do
don't.
you
You
have
allow
that
me to
opinion?
have it, but you don't value it.
I, based on that, just that alone,
Yeah,
I'm
just
like,
that. Just that. Just that.
fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Because that song is objectively fucking trash. You know
So
what I
look.
mean?
So look at
That
this. So
beat is
100%. 100% of people who are in the hip hop. What percentage of those people do you think? Not. I don't want to say should have. Everybody has an opinion. What
right.
percentage of those people's opinions do you think are valuable?
Those that know about it, those that understand.
So if that, let's say that's 7%.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 7%.
Yeah.
You don't think that argument kills itself
It
because the
doesn't. It
market is now
doesn't.
90. It's 93%.
I can't help being who I am. I can't help being the art snob. If I'm the art snob, I'm the art snob who understands that, yo, the way Van Gogh painted this thing is unfucking believable in 1930 whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
unbelievable how he painted this. No one was painting like this. This guy introduced a new or whatever, right? To me, that and I can't help being the guy who's concerned with that. I can't help that. So if you tell me, Stilo is your, and I don't mean Stilo Magolita, I mean Stilo who made I Wish I Was a Little Bit Taller. If you tell me that guy's in your top 10 list, already I'm going, you must not know shit about shit. because because you think that guy's shit. And again, God bless you. I'm glad that you even fuck with hip hop. You know what I mean? And I thank you. And if you're even a fan of mine or you're a fan of real dope hip hop, God bless you, and I wish you well in this journey.
Who
But
are
I'm telling you, I'm not
artists?
fucking listening to you. I'm not
This
fucking
is
listening to you.
we got to put the fire to your feet now. This is the fun. This is the fun part of the interview. So who name some artists that if you hear that they're in somebody's top 10 list that you shut
Yeah.
down their opinion right there.
All right.
That you actually hear. That you actually hear. Like
Yeah.
that people say.
So okay, that people actually say. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Talib Kweli. If Talib Kweli's in your top 10 list, I'm like, fuck out of here.
Okay.
Fuck out of here.
Okay.
If Sheik what's Sheik Luch? What's his name?
Sheik Luch. Yeah.
If he's in your top 10 list, fuck out of here. Like,
Really.
yeah, I think he's dope. I think he's dope. I think he's a great street rapper. But if he's in your top 10 list, I think you just haven't heard enough. Or
I'm saying, or you're from New York.
Right. I mean, you know, and here's the thing. Here's the thing too. I'm not dismissing your top 10 list. It's your top 10 list. I'm just saying that objectively, there are better rappers. Not the things I like, the things that I'm saying
like
when you
in
use
the
the
locks.
metrics. And yeah, when you, exactly, not even the best in the locks, right? So my and again, let's segue back to this objectivity thing, right? It's like everyone's gonna think, oh, it's Stogie's opinion. No, I'm not talking about my opinion. I have rappers in my top 10 list that might not objectively belong in the top 10 list. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there is a top 10 list that exists of the objectively top 10 dopest rappers in the world based on things like difficulty, level of difficulty, based on skill level, based on.
Do you think it's impossible to make that list though? Because like, what did Kiss say about Jordan? Kiss said there's somebody up north who plays basketball better than Jordan, but you don't know about him. So like, based on what you're saying, objectively,
I don't agree with that. Let me tell you why I don't agree with that. Because what is the highest level of basketball?
NBA.
Fuck out of here. So fuck that dude. Fuck that dude. He hasn't been tested.
No,
he hasn't,
no,
come
no.
on,
I'm not.
Steve,
Listen, you're
tested.
clouding the waters. You're clouding the waters,
not.
though. The point of that conversation is to give credence to visibility. If no one ever knew about a Stogie T, does that make you less dope? If you had everything that you had right now still,
yeah,
right? But no one knew about you to put you in this list. Because
then
there are a lot of people who don't.
Why the fuck do you think I'm trying to play in the Champions League and in the NBA? This is the reason I need to play. I'm not Steve.
But that doesn't make you less dope. That doesn't make you less dope.
You're right. Absolutely. Hold on. Absolutely. But until for myself, Steve, you are MC, bro.
I'm just a reactor.
Alright, whatever. The battle with Nestle versus the battle with Thesaurus feels very different.
Right.
Very different because when I'm battling Nestle, I'm like, yo, I'm at home. Mm-hmm. I just smoked a cigar. I'm gonna get in an Uber and go home in like 15 minutes after this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus when I'm in Toronto, I'm like, yo, there's Charlie Clips watching me. There's what's his name? Wolf. What's his name? Head Ice watching me. There's Organic. There's Avocados shooting the fucking shit. Yo, it's a different thing, bro. That's the equivalent of being Champions League playoffs, Game 7. That is a different thing to like being in a cipher in Gandhi Square or in Braamfontein. And I can tell you that because I was there. You know what I mean? So that's why, to me, it's important for you, because people think, oh yeah, Stogie's fucking fire. Yeah, he is. But can he hang with Benny? I gotta show him I can hang with Benny. I gotta show him I can hang with Black Thought. I gotta show him I can play that game. I gotta, bro. You know why I gotta?
I feel you, but I don't think I think that clouds the objective dopeness then. Because if it's objectively dope,
Doesn't.
why does the popularity matter then?
It's not
Like,
popularity. That's what you think. It's not popularity. That's not popularity. That's not popular. That's highest level. That's what I'm saying to you. It's the highest level. It's the NBA. Steve,
so
hold on, Steve.
based on your assessment though, so like what do you whatever you consider to be like the greatest album or the greatest record of all time, based on your definition, if that album or record drops and no one knows that artist, then it's not great or it's not album because they're not competing at the highest level.
No, it's the greatest album because of all those things. So Illmatic to me is the greatest hip hop album ever, right? Not just because of what it sounds like and when I listen to it I go, oh fuck, Nas caught a body here. No, but because of the context that it was released in. It was released in the context, it was released in the time, it has its specific moment. It changed the way hip hop was viewed, the way MCing was viewed. This guy, he synthesized all the dopest rappers in the world and Voltroned himself into this one. My thing is all those things play a factor. So when a kid scores a bicycle kick, in the playground, playing soccer at a playground with no shoes. It's an amazing bicycle kick. Wow, this kid's amazing. But when Ronaldo does that in the Champions League game, it's fucking nuts because it's a Champions League game. You're not supposed to be doing that. That's highest level shit. That's why, Steve, I could have done that same verse I did at Sway. I could have done that verse at Radio Metro on a Friday to DJ Fresh or whoever the DJ was at the time. And again, I've rapped just as good as that many a times on different radio stations. It didn't fucking matter until I went to Sway, until I went to the Champions League, until I went to the NBA and did that and showed them that like, yo, it's nothing to me. It's comfortable. It's like, it's the, you know what I mean? I mean, it wasn't nothing, but you know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
Who said Stowe can't hang on camera, right?
Exactly, bro. And that's what I'm saying, that I have to show that I can do it. That's what the Shakira effect is. The Shakira effect is I'm standing here, like I told you, I was in the green room backstage with her. She's telling me she got a hairstylist, she got a backing vocalist, she got and she's about to perform for 40,000 people in a stadium in Soweto. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm like, shit, I can't say I've done that. Can I really say I'm a world-class musician? If I ain't done that, I gotta do that. And it's not about popularity. It's about the world stage. It's about the highest form. It's about the highest form. No, it's about the highest form, Steve.
This is something. I'm not disagreeing. But here's my thought process.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll say this. You are consistent. You're consistent with your beliefs in the conversations that we've had, because this makes more sense to me with how like you scolded me because I put you in my top 5, because now that makes more sense, because there's still a lot more that you are hard on yourself that you need to accomplish to consider to be at that Jay-Z Drake level. You know what I'm saying? That high end level.
Absolutely.
So I think what it is I think to quantify this, to put this into words, is like, I think at this point our lists don't have the same criteria. When one person says my top 5 list, they're talking about what you're talking about in terms of highest level, and then the other thing that goes into that too is like shit that you've actually heard. Like you said that, like it doesn't matter if no one's heard it. Like,
Steve, you're misunderstanding me, brother. You're misunderstanding me. I'm saying,
am I?
Yes, I'm saying I want to be bulletproof. So when you say I'm in your top 5, I want there to be no debate. And the only way there can be no debate is if I've played on the same level as everybody else who's considered top 5.
Well, what happens when people who are considered top 5 aren't actually that good? Because that goes back to what you were talking about before with like the record sales and yada yada yada.
No,
like
that's when you have to be discerning and go. There isn't, so you have to be discerning and go, yo, that's where you trust the art dealer to tell you that, Steve, you're looking at a painting, you don't see much, but let me tell you what the story is. Like I told you, I spent the whole day drinking French champagnes, and the most intriguing thing about the French champagnes was the story. I tasted. I'm like, yo, there's some I couldn't even distinguish between each other, but the story is what makes the champagne. It's the, oh, this shit comes from this region where the slopes, the slopes have an effect on the grapes, and they make the
Talk your shit.
limestone. You feel me? The
Talk your
limestone is what
shit.
gives it its minerality and whatnot, right? That to me, it's the story, right? It's the backstory that makes it important. And so the art dealer will tell you, it'll say, yo, the reason this is important, in the same way that you, Steve, will be able to tell a newbie to hip hop and say, the reason this Joe Budden shit is so important. All you know is pump it up. But the
Right.
reason Joe Budden is so important as an MC in hip hop is because he spoke about mental stress, about how young people have to deal with inner city issues, and you know what I mean,
I got
and
you.
the effects it has on them, and being chemically induced and all that shit, bro.
Right.
That is what makes something important and gives it its real value. You go, oh, in 1994 when Illmatic came out, yo,
X,
everyone
Y, and
was
Z.
X,
Right.
Y, and Z, my G. You feel me?
This is
So
this is this is probably the biggest gem of the interview so far. This little rant you just went on. This is gonna be one that gets quoted. This was dope. This was super fucking dope.
respect. Just shout out
Shout
to
out for
Randy
that one.
Wilson, man. Randy Wilson podcast. Shout out to Randy Wilson. That's my man from out of Virginia, bro. Good dude. Good dude. He
Shout out
dropping
to
gems out
Randy.
here too. Yeah, shout out.
I try to look down every now and then and see the comments, but I'm also
Yeah.
try to be respectful and stay in the conversation. I
I
look to
got
see
you.
if
I got
PQ's trolling you or not. Um, so like, what do you say? Stogie's number 6 of all time until he makes Hello Kitty 2.
you. There's a remix to that, idiot. Is that Jay? Is that
Yeah, that
Jay?
was Jay. That was Jay.
Respect, Randy.
That was Jay. Yo. But like, all right, so what do I want to talk about? How do you like the cipher? I think the cipher came out fucking dope, man.
The cipher
The
was dope.
fucking
Go check out the cipher that Steve dropped on his channel. Who you had on there, man? You had
so it was me. All right, so I came out. I had Merkums right after me.
Merk.
Yo, Merkums is a fucking monster. When it comes to versatility on the beat, when it
Yeah.
comes to different styles and shit like that, bro, I
Right,
would
right.
put him up against whoever the fuck is in your top 5 for versatility. This
That's
kid,
amazing.
he could do. There's no sound. There's no era. There's no like format that he can't just fucking murder. And like I'm hard on people when it comes to like bars and shit like that too. So like I'll break them down. I'll be like, nah, that was cheesy, or nah, this was that, this was that. But when you look at the whole package and the sound, when it comes to just the sound that he's able to capture and encapsulate like an era, yo, Merkham's a fucking problem. Black Corleone came after that, so I'm new to Black Corleone. Hunter Kufi's actually put me on to him. Huge shout out to him. He's repping Philly, so you already know how I feel about all of our Philly cats. Like,
Hella cheap shit. Hella cheap shit. I remember.
let's go, man. Like you already know. Stogie T came in after that. Took a little while to get the verse out of my guy, but eventually he came around. He delivered big time. Boom. And then obviously Hunter Kufi's coming at the end, bar after
Absolutely.
bar after bar, fucking
Yeah.
slow dripping it out for us. Style
Yeah.
change. I think it's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to use these ciphers to put together a lot of American hip hop artists and South African artists, Australian artists that I'm dealing with right now. Shout out to Kane
Amazing.
Train, some UK artists. I want to make it a platform and a delivery package in these DVD formats that bring people together, because I get comments all the time from South African hip hop fans who are like, yo, I never knew that a Merkham's existed until I watched your channel, because I was watching this A. Reese joint, or I was watching this Nasty C or the Stogie T joint, and I seen that it was recommended, and now I know who a Hunter Kufi's is, and now I know who a Black Corleone is. And then alternatively, when I got all the battle cats over here, like, yo, Stogie just fucking destroyed. Who the fuck is Stogie T? And then they start digging into the South African leg, of all the reactions and shit like that. Like, having a centralized hub where all of this stuff is visible and able to come together and deliver types of content, man. Like it's part of what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's part of what I want to give back to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all super important. And there's a lot. You obviously know. There's a lot that I want to contribute, platform wise and voice wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, our values aligned in that way. You know, I remember when there was a battle league in South Africa called Scrambles for Money, right? That a good homie of mine, Ginny Grindith, wanted to start, and you know, it was doing its thing, and I was like, yo. He was like, yo, what do you think if I invite all these commercial rappers to come do the battles, you know? And I was like, well, look, man, they won't do it, but I'll do it. You know what I mean? And I'll do it for the same reasons that you said, you know. I mean, one, I trust myself, but also I just feel like, yo, I don't ever, Steve, I don't ever want to be left out of any space that is a hip hop space. So I want to be front and center, get the best table at the club, right? Where Casper's performing. I want to have the best. I don't want to be alien to that experience. But I also want to be able. Also want to be able to walk into the grimiest,
the underground joint,
absolutely, and not feel uncomfortable, because that's my, like, it's hip hop, it's my world, you know what I mean? So that's why I'll never deny Nelly, just like I won't deny Terrace One. I'm like, they are all part of what what makes this culture. No, I will never deny anybody. I won't, bro.
No, I was talking about the masterclass, Joe. I was talking.
All right, yeah. I mean,
with the Nelly. I had to step up and speak on it for a second.
Nah, God bless Nelly, yo. Nelly, I respect Nelly. I respect Nelly, bro. Like, look, everybody makes a contribution. I think one of the biggest misconceptions people have of me is I'm elitist, or I'm a Puritan, or purist, or whatever. I feel like everyone makes a contribution. The things that Squatter Camp did helped. They made it easier for a rapper that would not necessarily get a conversation with a label going, right? AKA Casper, they've made a conversation with a brand easier for somebody like me, who's considered a purist. You know what I mean? They've broken those barriers, right? So that some of us can have space. But in the same regard, you listened to my raps and went, shit, is there more of this in SA? And you go, now you know about, you know what I mean? Some shit that might not even be up your, you know what I mean? And so I feel like everybody makes a contribution, and everybody, it's like no one person can deny another person's space in the scene.
I talk about this all the time, bro. Like, my analogy that I use for this, bro, is when people talk shit on mumble rap and hip hop and shit like that, right? And my stance on this is always like, you look at, not you, but like in general when having this conversation, I'm like, you look at mumble rap from, I say this shit all the time, but you look at mumble rap from the eyes of an English teacher. You're looking at it from the eyes of somebody who's looking at format, who's looking at syntax, who's looking at similes, who's looking at metaphors. I look at it as, here is a kid who's found a way to go from sweeping fucking cockroaches off of his fucking mood his food in a fucking one-room apartment, right? And found hip hop as a way to get out of poverty, to make something of himself for him and his family. How can you say that person doesn't have a space? There's nothing more hip hop than saying fuck what the standards are, fuck what the status quo is.
I'm breaking it.
And cutting out your own fucking space. That's what hip hop is. And this is what we talked about. I'm not going to get into the previous conversation, but the whole people should step down and make room and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's not hip hop. That's not the way that this shit was supposed to come. And your opinion on something, like, especially me or you, like we look for certain things. We will be lying if we said that we don't look for certain things in the music that we consume personally, right?
Yeah, right.
Like there's a standard of punchline. There's somebody who hears the "I catch a body like Pilates" line, and they're like, "Oh shit, I never heard," like, you know. And there's a difference between someone who's cultured and been around for a long time and heard that a million times and is just not impressed by it no more. But that doesn't make one valid and one not in the eyes of hip hop, in the eyes of entrepreneurism, in the eyes of not living in poverty and giving voice to a group of people who may not have had the opportunity to have that voice previously. And like, I can't agree with you anymore with this. Like you and I are very, very on the same page. I use the mumble rap as an example because it's a popular topic for people to bash mumble rappers. And I don't think that they look at it from a hip hop. Like I talk about this too all the time. Like, it's the difference between rap and hip hop. Like, you can't say that there's no place in hip hop when entrepreneurism, street entrepreneurism, is a leg of hip hop.
Yeah.
You can say like, yo, you're not that a mumble rapper will never be top 10 lyricist because you're talking about rap.
Yeah.
And then that's facts. You know what I mean? Like, you can't argue that. But then to be like, yo,
culture, yeah, absolutely.
the culture, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
the hip hop versus rap.
I was, I remember having an argument like early days when trap was getting a foothold in SA, right? And somebody was trying to, like, put me on and was like, yo, look here, T, you got to get that old head mentality out of your mind. You got to be like, yo, these kids are breaking the rules, bro. What's more hip hop than breaking the rules? They say
facts.
Yes, there's a tradition,
facts.
but and so you niggas, and I said to him, I said, like you saying, facts. And that's why I would never deny that stuff. I would never write it off. I would never, you know what I mean? I'm always going to listen. It might not grab me or whatever. But also, an old head rapping at 50 or at 60, or an old head fucking with this, like, that's also breaking the mold. That's also breaking the rules. So you niggas also gotta accept the fact that
hold on. Is it breaking? Is it breaking it? Is it breaking it?
Come on, it's breaking the rules, because the rules are like, oh, it's a young man's sport. I mean, I remember watching an interview that Benny did with Crooked Eye, and he was like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about, that this is a young man's sport, because he brought crazy facts. In fact, I mean, dude, every time we talk about MCs and the best MCs, not even the best top 10 but just the most successful MCs, all of them are catalog MCs, bro. They're all seasoned MCs. Right. You know what I mean? We hardly ever mention, yo, that dude. We don't even remember who had the hit 2 years ago. Who had, you know what I mean? Like, we always talk about seasoned.
Longevity is part of it, though. Longevity is part of it, though. Like.
And I feel like longevity is so underrated in hip hop. I mean, in South Africa, I'll give you an example. In South Africa, we're still talking about artists who've been here for like 8 years. You know what I mean? 8, like, for, no longer, no shorter than 5 years. You know what I mean?
Right,
those are the skills of guys we talk about, and people still feel like, longevity is like it's overrated, or it's not even considered. And I feel like, yo, this is one sport or one genre where, much like a jazz or whatever, you can literally get better at it as you know what I mean?
Facts, it's real facts too, because there's opportunity for evolution too.
Absolutely.
Like and it's not always good. So I don't want to put the hard conversations out there, because I want to save that for a different format. But like, not all the evolutions are good either. There's a skill in knowing when to change and what to change and when to pull out of a change. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not everybody in 2020 that we loved in 2002 is as good as they were in 2020 as they were in 2002 either. Like, longevity for the sake of longevity is trash. But longevity, when you keep up with the skill and you keep up with the quality, like, I think that there's something to be said for that. Because, like, just being there ain't good enough. You got to be competitive.
Yeah.
Like,
You talking facts right now. That's a hammer on the nail right there, hammer on the head. You know, I'll tell you a super like two of my superpowers, right?
Here we go.
One is that for the last for the last 10 15 years, right, through me and the volume and through touring, I had to go to cities I've never been in my life and where people have generally never heard of me, and I had to win that room over. That developed a superpower because I
Facts.
wasn't relying on the fact that my songs were on radio.
Right.
I had to keep that muscle up. I had to literally go, okay, I'm in Nice now. Okay, we gotta win these motherfuckers over. I'm in Glasgow. We gotta win these motherfuckers over. You feel me? That keeps you
Right. Right.
sharp, like sharp, razor sharp. You feel me? And then second, and this is probably the most important, is I'm teachable, bro. I got a teachable spirit, bro. I listen to everybody. You know what it means to do verse of the month or verse of the year every year? It means I gotta listen to everybody's shit. I gotta listen to everybody's albums.
Yeah.
I gotta listen for verses on everybody. Everybody drops the album. I'm probably the only one in the country who's got to listen to all these albums and go, who got the dopest verse? Do you know what that means, Steve? It means I'm listening to, I'm checking for technique. I'm going, damn, that's new. I've never heard that before. Ooh, that's dope. I'm going to borrow that. Ooh, I can learn something from that. You feel me? That's what it
Right.
means. And dude, people underestimate that. They underestimate the fact that, like, there is a wealth of gifts and school that you can do from just what people drop, even in your in your space, and you go, oh, I see that, I see that, I got you, you know what I mean,
Okay.
and build from that. Absolutely, bro. That's my
So
that's
this
my that's my secret, bro. That's
that's
my superpower.
and I think that I agree with you because you and I have had conversations about the verse of the month extensively, obviously, and things of
Yeah.
that nature. So like I know this isn't cat. Like I know this is really like the steps, you know what I'm saying, that are going through to make all this shit happen. So let's talk about them. Because this is great promo for whatever opportunity you choose to release this type of information out on. Who's impressing you right now? Who's impressing you right now? 2020.
Good question.
Let's give some
Man,
flowers while they can smell them. You know what I'm saying?
I know, B. Like, you know what? Like, Freestyle Friday was such a fucking moment for me, man. Like, I felt like, you know what Freestyle Friday did for me, man? It was like, I thought, I suspected there was some dope MCs that people didn't know about, including me. I
Right.
didn't know there was this much, like, wealth of
Just
talent
fire out
in
there.
yeah, bro. Like, so a lot of guys that came through. I mean, Illy Amin I've always known was dope. Cap, I love Captain. You know what I mean? So
Shout out
a
to
lot of
Cat.
yeah, shout out to Cap. A lot of the stuff, Touchline. My God, bro, I'm feeling Touchline so bad right now, bro.
Yo, I am
Touch,
fucking Touchline's biggest fan, bro.
bro.
Like, yo,
Let me tell you right
Touch
now,
is
bro.
fire.
If anyone would ask me, yo, who, like, I think Touchline got next, like bad, like that dude can rap, bro. That dude is so fucking amazing, and he just
Rap,
doesn't, like,
rap.
and he makes amazing music. Like, I've heard him sing on joints, I've heard him do musical stuff, but like, that dude knows the anatomy of a punchline. He understands the anatomy of a line that moves you.
Yeah,
He's got so
facts.
much. He is, yo, dude. He is, and he's
And the
young. I love
content
that
is
he's
real.
young,
The
and
content
the
is so
content
real
is
too. He,
powerful.
he's
It's
he's not
powerful.
out here talking the same Pilates body shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Nah,
he's actually
nah.
speaking on topics that matter and making a difference. And his fan base is, he's got one of those hives too. He's got a
Exactly.
good hive that's growing right now that recognize that. Like
Absolutely.
he attracts people who recognize the from the English teacher perspective. Like he puts stuff together really, really well. His imagery when he writes and his ability to make you feel the shit. And then the big thing that I talk about is like the fucking emphasis on the punches. He knows when to let it breathe. He knows when he says some shit. He knows when the fucking mic drop and like, yo, sit and think on that for a fucking second.
It's
like,
not accidental with him. It's not accidental. It's not.
Touch is fire.
It's he's absolutely fire. So for me, I'm like, I'm looking forward to like the next 3 albums Touchline's gonna make. To me, that's what I'm gonna be listening to in the you know what I mean? That's the shit I'm looking forward to.
He's opening up the second DVD cipher for me.
Oh, word?
Yeah, it's gonna be me, Touchline, P.O, Jimmy Wiz, and Landmark.
Yo, let me tell you something. Touchline gonna body all y'all. Let me tell you right now, Touchline bodying all you, and you know that's a good list. But let me tell you right now, Touchline gonna fuck y'all up.
See, but I get last say, right? Because I can just go rewrite my shit once I hear their verses. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Nah, you'll never do that. Nah, you'll never do that. I know you. You never do that.
I'm just a reactor. What do I know?
No, you'll never rewrite. I'm saying you'll never rewrite. You never rewrite. You're too much of a purist.
My shit was already fire.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get Big Sean on control, nigga. Don't. Like, nah, my shit's already fire. Fuck this Kendrick verse. It's like, oh, bro, go rewrite, bro.
Yeah. Pick that pen back up, my guy.
Yeah. Is that P-Dot? Oh, is that P-Dot?
Is he?
P-Dot. Oh, no,
maybe.
somebody's saying P-Dot. Somebody's saying P-Dot. Okay, I thought that was him.
No, that's my guy. He's one of the ones. I was on fucking edibles shouting people out on fucking Twitter last night. He's one. I was like, yo, my guy. I hate to be reminiscent and shit. I just talked to you 2 weeks ago. like it's been a long time. Like, oh shit, yo, we about to. You want to hop out and get back in?
Yeah, why not, man? I'm like, yo, I'm loving the comment section though, yo. Hold on, man. How much more time you got?
10 seconds. Go.
Oh man, yo, shout out to Mahuta, man. You know Mahuta, he got a really dope podcast too. I just saw that Mahuta comment.
Yeah,
like, I had to come back for the shout out.
Come back for the shout out. So I was like, he had to come back.
Yo, shout out to Mahuta. No, yo, check it out. So Mahuta did he does a podcast. I forget what the fuck their podcast is called, man. It's called what is it? Something about not giving a fuck, basically. Yo, Mahuta, what's the podcast called, bro? Yo, get your shit in, bro. What's the podcast called? Sorry, Steve, I'm using your platform to like.
No, absolutely. That's what my platform's for. Promoting other people.
God bless. No Hidden Agenda, right? No Hidden Agenda podcast, right? And which is so fucking ironic because all I hear from them is hidden agendas. Now I'm playing. Nah, but yo, for real, he has a really tough time defending some of the shit that I do on that podcast. He has a really tough time defending, and I find it's a very fair podcast. And they're very fair to everybody. But you know, sometimes you want to just kind of go, that's not what I meant. And I always get mad, Steve. I always get mad when I watch even your reactions. I get mad when I watch your reactions, when I watch podcasts, when I watch people comment on stuff, and I'm like, but guys, just ask me. Just ask me what I meant. Just ask me what. Just ask. Like, don't go. You know, like it grates me to no end. I'm like, okay, so I'm watching a show with experts, so-called experts. I mean,
right.
no offense to anybody. And
fuck us. What do we know?
And I'm like, and you guys are out there with your presuppositions and your opinions, and I'm like, guys, I'm one tweet away. I'm one DM away. I'm one, like, just ask me what I meant. Why are you going on like a 20-minute like conversation about, yo, yeah, Mahuta, you need a yo. I'm telling you, bro.
Just you feel attacked.
Yeah, ask me, bro. Just ask me, bro. Yo.
I'm gonna just start tweeting you shit while I'm listening to music too. Like, yo, when you said this, I'm gonna normalize it for you. I'm gonna normalize it for you. Well, I think that speaks a lot to on what we talked before about the way that you interact with your community and stuff like that too. Because a lot of artists don't do that. A lot of artists aren't just a tweet away. A lot of artists don't respond to fans' inquiries and or worse yet, like there are a lot of people that straight up look at uh like people like us, you know what I'm saying, like the media, like hip hop media or whatever like that, and like they just don't like us. I've had a lot of people too that just like not everybody wants to be. I don't even want to say critiqued, but like you know what I'm saying, like quantified like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not a fan of me, if the only words out of your mouth aren't that I'm the greatest that ever lived, they don't want to hear about it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
Like there's so many
I
people
would
like that.
I would sooner have people like there's nothing I love more than people talking about what a MC said in a song. Like to me, like bro, if people were more interested
In the
as
lyrics,
yeah, because it seems like to me the only time people talk about lyrics, especially South African hip hop, is when someone mentions somebody else's name. It's like, oh man, oh so now we can hear the lyrics, huh? When
right?
somebody else got dragged, now we can hear the
It's
lyrics.
the gossip. It's the gossip
It's
effect. They want the gossip effect.
bro, I'm like, oh, so you guys can hear lyrics, but like, what about that other song? What about the song, bro? Like the amount of shit that I feel like Casper said in his album that
Mhm.
I would love to hear opinions on. I would love to hear people discuss the shit that Casper said that's got nothing to do with all the dissing and all the other shit. You know what I mean?
Right,
Just like,
right.
oh, like where this man is in his life. That's so interesting. Let's talk about that line. Tell me what he, you know what I mean? I'm like, I would love to hear that, but I know I'm probably just gonna hear a bunch of like, yo, okay, yo, I think he's talking about this guy, and
We should work on creating a platform to discuss things like that
I
in
think
the
so.
future. In the future,
I think
sometime.
so. I think so. I think that would be so valuable. Look, like I'm 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 very what do you call it? I'm reluctant because I'm still in the ring, right? But I think if people can accept a verse of the year award from me, I think they can accept me talking about
Facts.
their songs about what I mean, about their mom or their sister. You know what I mean? I think like
Well, this
uh,
this this goes back to what we talk about all the time with artist sensitivity. Like you know what I mean? Like artists are the most sensitive people in the entire world. No one could ever convince me. I'm an artist. I know. like
bet.
artist sensitivity of a lot, and you are in a very very unique position in that the people will get sensitive about different things, right? You are in this position right now where the people who revere you and the people who look at you and admire you and like that Stogie is who Stogie is are probably in that 7 percentile that we talked about, are probably the people who understand objective dopeness, or people who can look at something and understand technique and understand ambience and how the music tells a story before the bar ever hit. All those things that we talk about, right?
Mm,
Because you're that person and they know that you understand that, your opinion is going to carry a lot more weight. Your opinion is going to strike nerves a lot harder than the Twitter egg. Who says something negative might say the same thing.
right,
They
right,
might
right,
say the same
right,
exact thing, but it's going to be heavier. You know what I'm saying? And then when they have people like if you and I critique the same verse, there are people who are going to hold each of our opinions at different values based on whether or
right,
not they know us, they know the body of work, they know
right,
what we're comparing it to, what our knowledge
right.
is, and then take somebody else that's like completely random, like PQ, right? Hypothetically, she would be able to offer an entire different perspective because of being in the radio, you know what I'm saying, and understanding the
Right,
commercial scene and understanding
right.
the politics that go into getting spins and the politics and the bureaucracy that goes into journalism and the things that do get
Mm.
reported versus the stuff that doesn't get reported. Like they're entirely different perspectives. So that artist sensitivity is always going to play a factor, man. It
I
is. It
mean,
just
look,
has to.
that's a very interesting thing that you raised. I mean, we saw recently, right? We saw recently when someone like Scoop, they do this podcast called the Popcast, right? It's
Right.
Scoop, it's Miss Cosmo, it's VG, and it's Speedster, right? They do this podcast, and so Scoop kind of uttered an opinion where he said, look, he thinks that all the known artists should kind of
Take a
all
step
the
back.
just take a step back, right? Just take a step back to allow for the young, artists to kind of, come through. And I, um, and I find it interesting that like so you're saying the artist perspective, it's difficult for an artist to make an opinion. Shout out to El Tito. I just saw El Tito come in here, but like so El Tito, it'll be it's harder for El Tito to critique an album. So El Tito would rather, and I'm not making this about El Tito, but I would rather say nothing about an album I don't like than than critique it, honestly,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
Right.
or unless I like it, then I say, yo, shout out to or just say something bland and something like that's just kind of like, yo, support my man, shout out to my man, you know what I mean? And not
Right.
say nothing about the album because you don't want to,
Yo,
you don't
Black Corleone in the chat too. Shout out to Black Corleone.
shout out to Black Leon, right?
Yo, look,
You
we
don't
got
you
we got the cipher coming together. The cipher coming back together.
respect that you don't want to ruffle feathers, right? But Scoop said that stuff, and Scoop would be considered a pop culture journalist. He's in the culture. He comes from from hip hop, and he got dragged, right? He got dragged for saying that, and I don't know, um, I think it's one thing to disagree with his opinion. It's another thing to then make your disagreement of his opinion, say that his opinion is not valid. To say this is the problem with niggas like Scoop, is that niggas like Scoop, they suck blah blah blah's dick and they you know what I mean? They on this guy's jock and you know what I mean? It's like no. Just if you disagree with the homie, disagree on merit of on your arguments and leave it at
Right.
that. But don't make it this this thing about like why this nigga shouldn't be speaking. It's like, no man, if 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 you say something, Steve, and I disagree with it, and my argument is superior, then I get that. I win this conversation, and we leave it at that. You know what I mean? And but we're not gonna go. What we're not gonna do is go. Yeah, that's why Steve shouldn't speak on shit. You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't know. I might have a point of contention on this because what comes to my mind immediately when you saying this is I don't think of the Scoops. I think of the DJ Vlads or I think of the academics, right? And I do think that there's a play like when you have somebody like DJ Academics trying to speak on street shit when they don't have a place to speak on street shit. I think that vernacular you were just using when it comes to like, yo, this is why they shouldn't be talking about shit like this. I think that there are at least times, maybe not universally, you know what I'm saying, but there are
right.
times where that disagreement of opinion, depending on the subject matter, that shit matters, man.
Well,
There
well,
are certain people that shouldn't be like. I don't want to hear who said this. I forget who said it, but somebody made a whole comment about I don't give a fuck what Time Magazine's opinion is on a rap article.
and I agree, and I agree with that, right? I agree with that. Except Scoop has some skin in the game.
That's why I said that's why I took it away from that, and I wasn't saying necessarily about that. But there are
Okay, okay,
times,
absolutely,
when
absolutely,
people who are
absolutely.
not of a culture try to speak on it. Like
I had
academics
a
may be in hip hop, but he's not
right,
involved in the street side of things, which is what he was reporting on that got him in the fucking hot water that he got
right,
in. You
right.
know what I'm
So
saying? Like know your lane, know your lane.
I had a conversation with like two legends from South Africa, right? DJ Fresh, who's a
Like
house
flex,
DJ.
like
No,
flex.
no, I mean it was DJ Fresh and a guy called Eugene, right? He's from a Kwaito group called the Trumpis, right? He's probably like the de facto leader of the band, right? Eugene.
Okay.
And Eugene was saying to me that like, yo, he doesn't like this beefing thing in hip hop, right? And I think that should go away. I don't mind someone competing or whatever, but this beef thing. And I was trying to explain to him. I was saying, look, so yes, I agree with you that when people start swearing at each other's mothers and on Twitter and whatnot,
Right.
it's sloppy and it feels, and I'm trying to explain to him that you see the actual culture has a way of sorting all these things out. There's a very easy way of sorting these things out. We have a very tried and tested way of sorting these things out. You know what I mean? Honestly, and
Facts. You ain't
and
gotta tell me.
bet and uh, you know and I think a lot of the tension and a lot of the battles that happen in South African hip hop have to do with people's understanding of hip hop as a culture, right? I feel like there are things that people conflate with actual black South African culture, right? So saying something like, "Yo, I'm the best. I'm the dopest rapper in the country." Saying something like that is culturally, it's a taboo in South Africa. You know what I mean? In black culture, that's a taboo. It's like, it, versus, and it comes from, you have to accept the fact that that culture of saying I'm the best comes from a place, right, in the West, right, in the U.S.,
Right.
where it comes from inner city youths that had nothing, that had to, self affirm themselves, right? Had to say,
Right.
yo, the first line you learn is, yo, I'm dope, like whatever. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
fresh, like I'm
Facts.
nice, like, and we assume when we it's when you eat I always use this analogy. When you eat the chocolate, you bite the wrapper with it when you're too excited. You know what I mean? So there are certain things that we adopt as well as part of it, right? And they become part of the subculture. And you know and so there's this push and pull thing that's happening between actual culture, our actual traditional culture, and the subculture that we adopt, right? And and i i love that tension, because that tension produces new things. That tension
Right.
produces new
Facts.
worlds, you know what I mean? But people think that tension.
Competition breeds greatness. Period.
Absolutely, bro. That tension
Period.
creates these new things that that we can actualize ourselves into. I mean, it's the same thing that made Sophia Town. Sophia Town is crazy multicultural, like urban scape that happened in South Africa in the '60s during apartheid, where you know like people from the hood were mixing with Indian whites, and it became almost like New Orleans in South Africa. You feel me? In
Got
Johannesburg,
you. I
it
got you. I
became
got you.
it became the space where new things were being born in that tension, in this tug and pull that was happening. You know what I mean? And people are so afraid of these tensions, and I embrace that. I lean into that shit. Like, yo, this is how you create new shit.
I'm facts. So like, there's depending on who you're talking to, right? Because like, there's a lot of people when it comes to that culture, from the outside looking in, things can get very, very spooky very, very quickly. Like
Yeah.
in Philly, like where I'm from,
Yes, sir.
a block being shot up is one wrong line away at any given time, right?
Damn.
Specifically from the people outside the culture, because that's what they look at it as. Like, if you're not of the culture and you hear two people screaming in each other's face about killing each other's families and shit like that, it's easy to say, yeah, that part is toxic. It's easy to say, like, yeah, that, like, you don't see the creativity, like, not you, but people who are not of the culture, when it comes to the battle rap, when it comes to the competitiveness and shit like that, context is king. Context is always king, and without the context, it is a bad look. And
Absolutely.
I'm the first person to tell you that as a seasoned battle rapper. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, yeah, if I ever had to explain some of those lines, you know what I mean, to somebody not in the culture, it's gonna sound weird. It's like, no, you gotta understand. They're gonna scrunch their face up when they hear this. Like, this is a good
Facts.
bar. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? But like, the innovation and the subculture and just how important battling is. Period. You talked about it big. I hate to keep name dropping shit like that. We was in the master class and shit like that though, and like you were talking about like that big moment. You know what I'm saying, with that battle, and so much changed hinging on the first rap battle. Like, so much changed.
Yeah.
Like, it's ingrained in the culture for people who are of the culture. Like
No.
it just is. So let's talk about this though. So you're very obviously you're pro battle rap. You know, you got some skin in the game for battling. You're pro competitiveness. You know, you're very opinionated when it comes to objective
Absolutely.
dopeness and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pro rappers saying they're the best. I'm pro rappers saying fuck everybody else. I'm pro that hip hop energy. I feel like yo, you know, that comes with it. It's like yo, what the fuck are you doing if you're not, bro? The list of rappers I could name to you who are active South African rappers, where I've looked them in the eye and I said in my mind, that's not a rapper.
Ugh.
And not because of like just looking at their eyes and going, this motherfucker would melt in front of some bars. You know
Who
what I'm
who
saying?
who who's giving you a problem? Who's giving you a problem?
What do you mean?
So you just talk about all the people that aren't a rapper that will melt behind bars, right? So you talk about in South Africa. Give me three
Yeah.
people. Give me
I'm not
three
talking. No,
people.
no, no, no. I'm not talking about skill. I'm not talking about skill or ability. I'm talking about. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about where you look at.
Okay.
So Iliamin don't give a fuck about nobody. Iliamin is a fucking prick. That's an asshole. That's a prick. He's a good dude. He's like a good dude, but he's a fucking prick, bro. And AKA is a prick. That dude is a fucking asshole, bro. You look at that girl, you go, this motherfucker's hip hop to the fucking to the core, bro. This nigga don't give a fuck about nobody. You know what I mean? That to me, I love that energy, bro. You know, Aries. I look at Aries. I look at this kid. I go, this motherfucker is a fucking prick. This nigga here is a prick. This, yeah, I look at his
People love it.
eyes. I
People
look
love it, man. They
for real,
love
bro.
it.
And there's a lot of I looked at him, like eye to eye, spoken to, and I go, you would fucking melt. You are not even like
They don't.
nah,
A lot of people don't know about that stage. That
they don't
arena is
know, they
different.
don't
It's
know, they don't
different, man.
know, they don't
A lot of
know.
people say shit on wax too that they would never say to your face in that arena without that
Oh,
protection. You can't deliver it. You can't deliver
yeah.
it with that gusto. So
And, and,
I
and,
want to
and,
know.
and don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about ability. I'm not talking about skill. I'm just talking about like that attitude, that energy where you
The
go,
tension, the
the
tension, the tension, the gravity, the weight that you feel in that room is different, man. So who are three people that would be a problem for you? Let's talk South African artists, since that's where you said, you know what I'm saying, that there's a lot that you consider not an MC. Who's someone that if you were on the other side of, obviously you're not gonna say nobody can beat you, because that's not what we're
right,
about here, right? But
right,
who are three that you're like, yo, if I find myself on a stage across from this individual,
right,
I might be up late the night before. I might have
yeah,
to add a few finishing touches. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bring something different. Put a little stank on it. So besides me, who else?
That's funny. Nobody, bro.
Nobody. Nobody's even
Nobody.
close. No one's even
Nah,
close.
nah. I'm fucking
Do
with
you
them.
have do you have beef? Oh yeah. Let me get this out of the way for all the questions. Do you have
Yeah.
beef with anybody right now? Is there beef with
Nope.
anyone? So I can just
Nope.
clear that out. All the different
Nope.
ads, all the different tweets,
Mm,
all the different.
nope. When you throw dirt on the coffins of people that you came up with, like Double HP and Pro Kid, when you throw dirt on their caskets, that shit, you quickly realize that shit ain't about nothing.
I feel you. That was heavy.
Sorry.
That
But
was
for real,
heavy.
like I made all the calls with anybody that I might have some funny energy or vibe with. I made all the calls. I said, "Yo, look, man, do we really have a problem?
Right.
And can we sort it out? You know what I mean? Because
That's
I
that's
was
that's
like,
heavy.
yeah, that's not real to me.
That's
It
heavy.
stopped being real. Yeah.
I respect that. That's dope. It's
And by
it's
the way,
funny.
by the
It's funny.
way, by the way, like I'm almost at a point where I mean, just to remove the heaviness, I'm almost at a point where I'm willing to put racks up against anybody to be like, and not anybody, but like somebody important. You
Right.
gotta be
Right.
somebody.
Right.
to say, yo, here's an account. You put your money in there. I'll put my money in there. Yo, you go, I go, and like, yo, and we'll see who gets like,
And no
no,
one's touching you. And that's what you're saying. Not a soul.
bro.
Just me. Nobody else. That's wild that you said that. That's crazy that you just said those words out loud. That should be quoted. That's crazy. Just Steve
You
BussaGS.
you would
That's
have a
wild.
fucking tough time, buddy.
Bro, you come on now. You go rewatch that cipher. Go rewatch that cipher. A
Yo,
tough
fuck out
time.
of him.
I'll give you
Yo,
tough time. I'll give you tough time.
Mahuta says, who would you accept putting racks up against? Three names.
Me
No,
personally?
no, he's saying no. Well, yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe he's talking about you.
Ah!
You
Line
got
them up! Yo, they don't know, Stoke. They like I'm from the era where you got to be ready to go with the drop of a hat, my guy. Like I'm the worst person to try and pull up on because I'm always ready. Like, but yeah, go ahead. Give your names. Give your names, Stoke. Three people you would want to put racks up.
Yo, whoever got the racks, and
Who do you, all right,
they
stop this
gotta
though.
be
Because
somebody. Yeah.
forget the racks though. Forget the money part of it, right? Who would make the best show as far as the commercial rappers, right? Who's gonna put on the best, like, to where it's gonna be a classic? I don't want to hear who you're gonna slaughter, right? But like who would be like, yo, we're about to make history. The second they press play, this is about to be history.
I mean, I would, you know, I would say Proverb just because I get irritated every time my name is mentioned and someone mentions him. I just get irritated. I just get like ah.
See, I knew that. I wasn't gonna say that.
Shout
I
out,
saw
shout
my
out
list.
to shout out to Proverb. Shout out to Proverb. Shout out to Proverb.
Shout out
But
to
like, yo,
Proverb.
Proverb ain't made a song in like since I was Stogie T. So I'm like, yo, bro, come on, you guys are like, so what are you guys rating me against? Like, you rating me against
Right.
what, like shit from, you know what I mean? And yo, shout out to Proverb. Proverb put in his work. He's an SA hip hop legend. I'm never ever gonna take that away from him ever.
Right.
But I'm just saying, for me to be
And
like,
he's
oh,
still
okay,
doing a lot too, right? Like he's still moving a lot.
yeah,
He's making a lot of moves and shit like that. But it's
yeah.
different
So
business.
he's
It's different business ventures.
absolutely. I mean, he's super successful. He's yo. Shout out to him. He's like he's
Yeah.
actually showing a lot of you know, a lot of artists how to kind of like, you know, how to hustle up, bro. You know what I mean? How to hustle up. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money
Facts.
to be made from the name that you build in hip hop
Facts.
through branding and through these other ventures and stuff like that. 100%. All right. So there goes one Proverb. Who else? Which I honestly got, so like my opinion of Proverb. I've spoken on this, you know, a lot from all of my reaction stuff like that. I find Proverb's position in hip hop, from what I've gathered and my like coming in from the outside and stuff like that, to actually be really important. And it's never been like, oh my god, I think he's the best technical rapper, or he's got dope punchlines. Like the stuff that I've heard from him has been like the pro women verses, the pro Father's Day verses for the men who take care of their kids. The fact that he doesn't curse in his fucking albums and shit like that. Like it's the positivity. You know what I mean? It's the shedding. It's the message. It's the fact that there's a positive message that's involved with hip hop, because being a battle rapper, I OD on punchlines. I OD on diss tracks. You know what I'm saying? And tearing people down. That's the shit that I wake up for. So when you have somebody who has a buzz, who's making a name of themselves, but they're doing it in a positive light, you know, like Will Smith ain't got a curse on his rap to sell records type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a value in that.
Because I do.
But like, yeah, like I don't know. It's different. It's different. How do they put it on the podcast? They're like, it's different. It's different corners of the same club. You know what I'm saying? They're different corners of the same club.
No doubt. Look, man. Look, and you know, here's the thing, bro. Like, I'm sure somebody's recording this shit, and they're gonna, you know,
I'm
throw it
recording
all
it.
over the. Yeah, but you know, I'm just saying, like, the little clips, you're gonna throw it on the internet and make it something that it's not. you know, and you know, forget about context and whatever, and try to distract me from my world domination. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm trying to do serious shit. But like, you know, I think, I think I do not want to be misunderstood. I do not want to be misunderstood. You know, I'm 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 not saying that, like, you know, niggas ain't dope, and niggas ain't, you know, I mean, yo, bro, like, we can do a whole podcast on who I think is dope. I mean, a
Right.
whole live on who I think is dope. You know what I mean? And
The slips.
I do that. I do that. Right. I do that for a living, pretty much. I mean, I do verse of the month. No one fucking cares about niggas verses. I do that, bro. I really do that. You know, where I go, this dude is fire, that dude is fire. So I really do that. But I'm just saying that, like, you know, it's it's it, it's hard when you're not talking to people who are who are invested in the culture. When you're talking about the culture, it's very hard to get misunderstood, Steve. It's like, you know, so when you say something like, yo, nigga, I'm nicer than everybody, it's like people just hear that and go, wow, this guy, you know, just like he thinks he's the father of rap. And it's
Right.
like, yo,
Right.
you know, which is like, bro, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying no one's valid. We're just saying, yo, earn your spot. Earn your spot. You know what I mean? And by the way,
Take it.
we didn't finish, yeah, exactly. We didn't finish talking about Scoop. I completely disagreed with Scoop. I completely disagreed with what Scoop said,
Sam.
because all those dudes that he spoke about, Questa, Casper, I think he mentioned Keenan,
AKA
yeah, those motherfuckers fought for their way in the game.
facts.
Those motherfuckers fought for their way. Nobody gave them, you know what I mean? Those dudes fought their way in the game. They got their spot. And if somebody wants their spot, they better come and fucking take it. There's no way, yo, AKA must take a break. That's not how it works. You gotta fight for it. You gotta go, yo, all right, I'm taking this. You know what I mean? So, you know, convince the radio guys, convince the media guys, and also, if Scoop is so worried about these youngins, he should stop talking about AKA and them and talk about the youngins. Tell me who you need, who you
Just give them the publicity. Just give them the
give him a
spotlight.
platform.
Give them
Exactly.
the
Okay.
spotlight.
Stop talking about Questa. Talk about who's this new kid that you think needs the platform. You know what I mean? So I know about him. You feel me?
No, absolutely. And like that that's I think you uttered that before too. I think you may have mentioned that on the AKA live, or one of our previous lives. 'Cause that's not the
Right.
first
Yeah.
time. That's not the first time I've heard you say that. And,
Absolutely, bro.
and like I couldn't agree more with it. You know what I'm saying? Someone's in there like, y'all don't want diss records, blah blah blah. Please don't ever put that in my mouth. Like
Not
I
mine either.
I
Not
live for
mine
that
either.
shit, man. I am all
Not
about
mine
beef.
either.
I'm about beef when beef stays hip hop. I never want to
Yep.
see anyone lose their life. I never want to see anybody's loved ones feel threatened or nothing like that. But when hip hop is just about like, yo, let's really put it together. Let's see who's nicer and let's see who got more bars. That's my soul right there. I care
What
more
you
about that.
what you think about this boxing fight between AKA and Casper?
So I only heard about it through the live. I actually didn't know about it outside of that.
When I spoke to him?
Yeah. That was my first time hearing about it. So my thoughts on this are the same thing, like with any of the YouTube celebrity boxing matches and shit like that comes off, right? I think if you, like with my opinion on most things that you and I have talked about, if you have two consenting adults who want to do something, let them fucking do it. I don't think it's negatively going to impact hip hop, but I also don't think that it's going to translate into hip hop either. I think it's going to be I think it's a bag grab. I think it's good for publicity. I think it's good for marketing. I don't think it holds any water. Like I don't like if me and you spar lyrically and I beat your ass 3-0, and then we get into a ring and you knock me the fuck out in the first round, you still caught those 3 L's bar for bar. That doesn't give you any additional credence in hip hop. You might not like. I might not be able to. I might not be able to talk any muscle bars for a while. I might have to stick to gun bars going forward. Not talking about slapping nobody for a while, but like as far as like the actual place in hip hop and stuff like that, I think it's great. If they're getting paid for it, he said he's getting a bag. Let these men get their money. Get your bag. If that's what you want to do with your legacy, if this is like a bucket list thing, if this is really gonna squash beef so that nobody gets shot, if there's really beef, like if there's like because where I come from, like again, like you never know what's for play and what's for show and what's for clicks versus like who's actually like real beef. You know what I'm saying? Like who's actually at stake here. If this is a way for two men to resolve their problems with nobody being threatened to get shot, with no like outside violence and shit like that, what could be better for the culture than seeing two men make adult decisions, square up like we used to, get it out of your system, then shake hands and go back to making money? Like, how could you even hate on that? Like that's grown man shit. I like that. Where I think my opinion of either artist may change is going to be in how they handle the victory or how they handle the loss and what their next moves and statements afterwards are. Right. And if they try to translate it into hip-hop and if they try to translate it into more than what it was, like my opinion of a person's character is going to be flexible at that point. Seeing how they carry themselves.
That's interesting. I think that's you make a really great point. I wonder if say Casper beats AKA or either or AKA beats Casper in this fight, will that have a bearing on hip hop? Will people go, that's why Casper's better, or that's why AKA is better?
Right.
That's very
do because like I'm familiar with AKA's music. To a degree, I've heard a decent amount. I've reacted to a decent amount of them, positive and negative, and I've definitely, like, one of my favorite breakdowns of all time that I've done on my channel was to Dreamwork. I think Dreamwork was fucking incredible, and the video that they put together for Dreamwork was like, I still play. That's on most of my American playlists. I still have Dreamwork on most of my American playlists. I'm not familiar with Casper. No one's ever no one's recommended him to me. I'm assuming he doesn't either make the lane of music that I normally score well, so it's not recommended to me, or his fans just haven't found my channel yet. You know what I'm saying? Like that's also a possibility.
I think it's a combination of both. So particularly like in recent like history, Casper hasn't really made like traditional hip hop. Like, so that's why even this album has gotten such a reception, because it's like, okay, now he's like, got the two verses structure, you know what I mean? Where he's rapping. So you probably will get a lot more requests now, because a lot of the stuff before was kind of him venturing into like Kwaito, into Gom, into like piano, into, you know what I mean?
I got you. I say that to say this, like, I don't know that either of them have a history of making gangster music. I don't know that either of them have a history of making tough guy music, right? Because that's not the vibes that I get. So I don't really know what's going to change from a boxing match, because that wasn't anybody's. You feel me? Like, that wasn't anybody's claim to fame. That wasn't anybody's claim to fame. That wasn't their lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it makes a big difference if Math Hoffa goes into a ring. You know what I'm saying?
With Disaster.
That's way different than two people that's not necessarily their claim to fame, but they still want to go and get it in for a bag. And it's not a mystery either. It's
kind of AKA's claim to fame. He slapped a couple people around.
Yeah,
he's a little bit of a bully. Yeah. Including Casper. He slapped Casper like some years back.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So but they have.
I'll stop talking bad about AKA.
Don't say it. You might just say some dumb shit. I can just see in your face. You had that coy smile like I'm about to say some dumb shit. Don't say it. Not with my face here, nigga. Not with my face here. Not with my face.
Stogie T says. Stogie T cosigns.
Me and my mans is good. Both my mans. Both my mans is good. So I don't want no. Nah.
That's not what Twitter said.
Nah, we both good, son. We all good. It's all good. It's all good over here, bro. It's all good.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Is there anything you want to talk about? Like, when I spoke to you last night too, like, I meant this because I feel like with how seasoned you are, right? As far as like interviews or whatever like that go, you've probably done a million of them. You get tired of answering the same questions over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to deliver original content. I want people to have a reason to click on this. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just another Stogie T interview. Yeah. You know, is there anything that you want to talk about, like that you want to get off your chest? Is there any of your shit that you want to get off? It's like, yo, here's something I never talked about on air before that we can like go and like really get into a dope convo.
I mean, look, you know, I probably, you know, there's gang shit I want to talk to you about and continue to
You,
talk to you about, but you know, not all of it is for public consumption. You know what I mean?
facts.
I think what might be interesting though, what might be interesting is maybe, you know, I remember seeing that you got a lot of maybe not pushback. Pushback might not be the right word, but you know, I saw that you got a lot of like people kind of inquiring about you reacting to like a Zakwe verse that was a Zulu
Right,
verse, or yeah,
right,
you know,
right.
and how how could you understand, or how could you even react to this shit? You know what I mean?
Facts. So
It being a Zulu, so
there's
I'm
two
curious about
brains
that.
here. There's two
Hmm.
brains here, right? Um,
Was it for Roots, right?
there was the one for Roots with Zakwe,
Hmm.
Zulu Man with Nasty C.
Ah,
I had the Proverb and Manifest. There have been a lot. I did
Proverb
Questa,
and
King's
Manifest.
Speech.
What did Manifest? I know Proverb didn't rap in, but I did
No.
Manifest.
Manifest
Okay,
had a little bit of a mix in there,
okay, got you.
and in some part where it's just like that the accents, you
Mm,
know, overpowered even when it is in English. You know what I mean? To where it's like
right, right.
that borderline,
Yeah, where you
whatever
can't
the
hear. Mm,
right. So like there's a couple trains up. Number one, if you listen, if you pay attention to what I actually do and you follow me, uh, I don't pretend to know about things that I don't know about.
facts.
I don't pretend to understand Zulu when I hear Zulu, right? So like I give credence from a perspective. The value that I bring comes from the perspective of an international ear. I'm giving you the perspective of what somebody hears who doesn't understand. And I make
Good,
that very clear.
good
Here's
point.
what it sounds like to me. The value that I bring to the market, the value that I bring to the team, to the artist, is letting you know what people hear who don't necessarily understand you. So
Mm,
that's like one portion of it, right? So where that's empirical data that you could use that and you can build a marketing strategy around that if global conquering is one of the goals, right? The other portion of it is I try to share my platform with as many artists as possible. 46% of my audience is South African. So just because I don't understand something doesn't mean that 46% of the people that click on my channel don't. And it doesn't mean that that artist doesn't deserve a platform because they don't speak the language that I do. It doesn't
facts.
mean that my audience is pigeon-toed to only listening to one genre of music that I like
Mm,
the point of my platform is always give credence to the artist first. I'm just a reactor. You hear me say that all the time. I don't
yeah,
try to take shine away from nobody. I don't try and like the stuff that I want shine for is for the DVD cipher. The stuff that I want shine for is the stuff that I did from the muscle that I put together. I developed these relationships. I delivered this content. Talk to me about my commentary. Talk to me about my verses. Like that's the stuff that I want credit for. When we start talking about people who are speaking in Zulu, we start talking to people who are speaking in fucking any language. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just them. I did the Japanese with Bandmate. You know what I'm saying? I've done the
yeah,
German with the rock and roll stuff. Like I've done a lot of other languages.
right.
It's not about me. Stop looking at me as I am my platform because my platform is all of y'all. And if there are people who are like there's two people who are going to benefit. Is the fans are going to benefit from being able to hear dope music and then communicate to me, and then I start learning about the culture, about why this is dope or why this is not dope, and how this person has an impact on the culture because I'm a student first. Like I took the time to understand the culture, to understand the perspectives of people who are of the culture and in the culture. So this is a
Mm,
good educational opportunity for me. And then the next person that is always going to benefit is the artist. Because
yeah,
like if no one's ever heard of Stogie T, and I go on my platform and you get one fan, if there's one new person that wouldn't have heard of Stogie T without coming to my channel, you now have one extra listener that you didn't have prior to
got
me covering that song.
Facts.
And sometimes that's all. You don't know who that one person is. That one person might have a podcast that they're now playing you on, and then it
Yeah.
creates a chain reaction. So like
Absolutely.
they don't get to me. It doesn't get to me. When people tell me to stay in my lane and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about and blah blah blah. Number one, they can't beat me in a battle. So like you want to talk about who's of the culture. You want to talk about who's of the culture. I'll bar somebody to fuck up at the drop of a hat. So like
Right.
if you're really about that and you're really talking about that shit. Second thing, I'm of the streets too. So like I can talk however the fuck I want about in any of those fucking lanes that I want to. Like you can come see me. Like I'm still here. like I haven't left yet. Talk shit when I leave. Talk shit when I'm out the hood. Like
Yo,
talk shit then.
relax, Steve. Damn.
My bad.
Yo, relax, bro.
My bad.
Damn, bro.
Bring it back down. Let me bring it back down.
You got hella Philly on me. Damn, bro. Damn, yo.
I get passionate about this shit, man. I get passionate about it, man. Talk my shit.
That's the last question I'm asking you, bro.
Nah,
I ain't
man.
fucking with you, bro. Yo, come on, man.
It's all love. It's all love, man.
Nah,
But like,
bad. But yo, for real though, man. Like I want to say, man, congratulations, man. Like yo,
thank you, man.
I know bona fide musicians that don't have, 5K subscribers, bro. So God bless you, man. Like
Appreciate you, man.
I think it's amazing just to see the growth of your channel, and also how focused it's been on like South African hip hop, like what you're doing as well. You kept talking about like there isn't a hub. Your space is starting to be a little bit of a hub for, like, you know what I mean? For
a lot of it.
South African hip hop. Yo,
watch what's about to happen. Watch what's about to happen, bro. So like, as soon as I hang up here, for those of you who don't know, so let me do a little promo real quick too, right? As far as the channel goes and some of the future projects, right? So I'll talk to you about it. So this is something you and I were eventually going to have a conversation about anyway. So shout out to Cape Town, right? So this Clash MC Battle League semifinals just dropped. So I'm gonna react to those battles, and I'm deciding who goes from one round to the next, right? So I'm about to do the semifinals, and then we're gonna do the finals. And now I have a platform that I'm giving to battle leagues. There's also been interest from a Nigerian battle league that reached out to one of the Cape Town battlers that is interested in having my opinion on it. There's also an Australian battle league that has reached out to me. Shout out to Keep It Medicinal and Acisms and those Epiphany and the Australian guys who are hitting me up that want to utilize the platform to get their shit off too. I want to see these leagues get their bag, get their own money, be able to build up a platform for these artists, and have some type of a marketing guidance and have some type of an insight into like, yo, here's how you build something. Like when I see a battle league that has 400 subscribers, but you have these people who can actually rap, like there's actually spitters on the league and the label, whatever. Like I want to be able to do my part with giving them a platform. So now I start bringing cultures together. Now I can create hey, we might have a South Africa versus Australia tournament that I'm hosting on my platform. That now you have people who are in Australia getting eyes on South African rappers that they never would have looked at before. Then now the views are going up. Now the subs are going up, right? Then we start bringing in the Nigerian league. Now when you have those, they get a buzz. Now I have a league from the UK who starts reaching out to me. Now maybe I go and I put together 8 spitters from Philly. You know what I'm saying? And we do a Philly, and that's how you bring everybody together. And then you tie that in. All I need now is like, I don't know, maybe like a platform where I can talk about it every once in a while. So I'll start working on something like that where we can bring that into the fold. Then you start talking about sponsorship deals. Then you start talking about view packages. Then now you're helping people get out of poverty. Now you're helping people turn their lives around and make a living off what they love to do. That without that centralized hub, it's really difficult to create everything by yourself and to try and shoulder things by yourself. And I've never been about that. If I have 5,000 eyes on me right now, and I think somebody's dope and deserves it, like that's why I do reactions. I want this other person to get 5,000 eyes on them, and I'm going to do big things. I am not done. I am just starting. I've been doing this for less than 6 months, and the progress that has been made in less than 6 months so far, you couldn't predict it. I was supposed to do marketing predictions Shout out to Graysquare. Graysquare is a marketing firm based out of Northern Liberties in Philadelphia that I've worked a lot with, and I'm on the phone with the vice president, Landon. And I'm talking to Landon. I'm in a parking lot of the bank. I'm at the bank about to make a deposit, and I'm sitting there talking. I'm like, yo, give me 2 years. 2 years, and I'm going to have 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, and I'll be able to monetize it, and then we'll start be able to do some affiliate marketing and stuff like that. Motherfucker, 2 months later, 2 months later,
Wow.
I'm dropping the 1K verse. 2 months after that, we're doing 4K. Like we're hitting all the goals. And now what's going to happen is the YouTube becomes the HUD that starts going in with the battle leagues. The battle leagues start going into getting promoted as a sponsorship on some other platform. Then the other platform is making reference to the YouTube, and one hand starts washing the other, and we're all breaking bread on ad revenue. We're all breaking bread on sponsorships. The artists are learning how to centralize their own workshops, where to put all of their views. Like if me and you decide to battle, or use the other guys. So like I had Ryu versus Zenith happen last round, right? And like Ryu and Zenith are two people who can like rap, like they got bars. So now I see this on this channel, and like I want to go and look up all of Ryu's work. I want to go and look up all of Zenith's work. There's no centralized hub. There's nothing there for it, right? So by finding the talent and doing the kind of A&R scouting with the reactions, it allows me to cherry pick the people who are actually dope and help bring them up. And it's only for the people that want it. Like, who the fuck am I? You can tell me to go fuck myself that I don't know what I'm doing. But when in 5 months, there are a lot of people who would switch their careers with me right now with my trajectory and things that are going on, and I've done this in 5 months, there's something to listen to for the people who want to be teachable. And I'm learning shit every day. I'm blessed to be able to come on here and do interviews with people like you who are way more experienced than I am. And I try to pick brains and learn as much as I can day in and day out. And I just want to share it. I don't want it to be myself. Look at how many gems have we dropped in private conversations that so many people could benefit from if there was a centralized hub for the information. And that's why there's an entire playlist on my junk where I'm going over all these interviews, where I have Aziza talking about the radio leg of things, where I have people like, Jimmy Wiz, P.O, where I have Touchline, all those interviews talking about different stages of just starting and the things that they've overcome and how they choose content and the difference between a personality and, you know what I'm saying, like who they are and things. Like, there's a lot to it, man. There's a lot of stuff that's happening, and it's beautiful that I get to be a part of it in any way. And if I make, like I said, if I get somebody one extra eye on them, if I get somebody one extra view, one extra click, one extra subscription, bro, I'm doing my part to make some kind of a difference and positively impact the culture. And that's what it's ultimately all about, man. And then if it gets bigger and we blow this shit the fuck up, and then we can start putting money and getting people out of poverty, and like yo, this could be who you are. This is when people say, like, who are you? And you start really looking at it and shit like that, and what have you done and what do you stand for and shit like that, man. This could be an opportunity to really change some shit. So,
I like that.
God willing.
Man, my man got on a soapbox right there. I fuck with that. I'll fuck with that.
Shout out to April Showers in the comments, another reactor. She's super dope. She's living out her dreams. Yo, this is a perfect example of this YouTube shit. Yo, you got April, who I did the interview with as a reactor who had an established channel when I first started. This last weekend or the weekend before that, my time frame's all messed up, right? She got invited to go to a cookout with a whole bunch of YouTube rappers and artists and reactors and stuff like that, do crazy network marketing, see ciphers and stuff like that get put together. None of that exists without the networking. None of that exists without YouTube and the hub and like the way that everything goes. And it's changing people's lives, man. You're creating like, it's dope, man.
Shout out to April. April don't miss a bar, bro. April don't miss a bar, bro.
Bar queen.
Bar queen.
Yo, I fucks with her, yo.
Yeah, look. Like I always say, bro. Like, I fuck with reactors, bro. I fuck with reactors hard. Like, particularly the honest ones, and the ones that really like, I watch some reactions. I mean, it's probably great segue into talking about reactors. I've watched reactors like react to some of my shit and literally keep quiet through the whole verse and then talk about what I was wearing, and I'm like, wow. 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 But
don't give me Don't get me
God
started on
bless.
the reactors, man. I love everybody. I try to spread as much positivity as I can. But if I thought these reactors were doing their job, I wouldn't have started a channel. Like, I don't know how to keep it more real than that. Like, I love the platform. I don't want one person to make $1 less than they are. I do not want anybody to lose a subscriber. I don't want anyone to lose a meal.
Yeah, that's why I
But
don't say nothing. I just like, yo, shout out. Like I said, I think the
right.
policy is always, if you ain't got nothing good to say, shut the fuck up. Don't take bread out of nobody's mouth, man.
But but
No, look,
but
critique is yeah,
there's
yeah, I know.
there's there's some value in the negative comments. If the negative comments are said from a place of positivity or objectivity, right, and not as a place of insult, there's an infinite amount of value in that. That's no different than you being an artist that surrounds himself with yes men. You'll never progress off of what your own ideas are capable of coming up with if everybody's telling you everything that you did is fucking gold. And everything's not for everybody. Like, as a reactor, you might be a trash reactor,
Right.
but there's still value in what a trash reactor listens to and hears when they hear your music. Just like I may not know how to speak Zulu, but there's some kind of value in somebody telling you what someone who doesn't understand hears and thinks about the music. You feel me?
Facts.
So it's like there's value in everything, man. You just have to know how to manipulate the data to put money in your pocket. That's what it's about.
I hear that. I hear that, Steve.
So,
I hear
what
that.
time is it where you're at, man? I know I'm keeping you up late.
It's
Like
2
2 there.
a.m.
Oh, this is light work
2
for us.
a.m. I know.
This is light work.
We did a how long we did a Zoom call for
7
like
hours.
7
7
hour Zoom
hours.
call.
Yeah,
I
that
went
John
through.
transition days.
I remember. I just remember looking at my cigar box like, wait, how many I smoke? I was like, what the? Yeah, nah. Yeah, but that was good. Like I told you, man. I was like, oh shit, okay, yo, hey, all right, I like that. I like that.
Facts, man. I appreciate you doing this too. Like I value. Never let it be understated. I don't talk about my personal relationships with artists and stuff like that too much because it's not a clout thing. I love the conversations that we have. I value the time that we spend trying to grow together and talking about marketing and talking about hip hop and shit like that. So like let it be said, man. Like I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to even acknowledge me and the channel and the growth and stuff like that. Like I really appreciate that.
Nah, respect, King, respect.
Let's do Q&A now, they're saying. All right. I'll do some
What's going
Q&A.
on?
You got time for
All right.
question and answer?
Yeah, cool. Let's go.
All right, throw some questions in the chat. You got me thinking about that on the playback now. When I might have to edit that Philly part out. Did I get too hard? Did I go too aggressive on that? Oh shit.
Nah, you good. You good. I was teasing a little.
April said, "Thank you for knowing me." She's so humble. Come on, where the questions at? You guys want? How old are you guys? Stogie's ancient.
I'm ancient.
Ancient.
That's all you gotta know. I'm ancient. Is that Kanye? Zandi Kumalo. Zandi Kumalo got Kanye as a profile pic. Would you feature Rouge? If you're asking me, then you haven't listened to my music.
Bars. Can't get to Mufasa by Antelope. Was it a shot to Casper? You told them to ask you directly. Let's go. They're asking. Was that a shot at Casper?
I wrote the line before Casper even called himself Mufasa.
There you
But
go.
so yeah, it just but he then was Mufasa, and I knew it was gonna apply, and I didn't edit it, so I suppose I then knew that it was gonna be a shot. So yeah, I suppose it was a shot. But
Okay.
focus on the past tense. Emphasis
Fair
on
enough.
past tense.
Someone
You
said, "Do
guys
you
take
guys?"
drugs.
Yeah, I just seen that.
Yeah, I don't take drugs. I smoke cigars. I drink alcohol. That's about as far as I take it with me.
So
You, Steve?
alcohol. November 1st, I'll have gone a year without drinking. which is actually, it had nothing to do with the alcohol side of things. It was more of the empty calories. It was part of like a weight loss journey for me.
Gotcha.
So November 1st will be a year without alcohol, and I never did any drugs ever in my life. Last November, around the time that I stopped drinking alcohol, I did start dabbling with edibles. So marijuana
Oh,
edibles, yeah. So like the marijuana edibles are about the beginning and end of any type of drug use or anything like that. And if you guys watch my content, I'm always criticizing the kids that talk about lean and all that other shit too. So like I don't necessarily like. I'm old too. Like I'm 32 to answer the previous question. So like I'm of the era, like we came up with drug dealers and they're coming up with drug users now. So it's like it's different in the content. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I
We're
want to hear
about
Stogie's opinion on Takeover versus Ether. To this
you
day,
got
the
20
debate is
seconds.
still going.
You want to call it here, or do you got another live in you?
Well, let's do Q&A. Let's do Q&As. Let's do Q&A quickly for like, for another like 15 minutes.
All right, cool. This is about to end. We're about to get kicked out. So come back in for
Cool.
Q&A.
All right.
Cool. You're
Yo.
part 4. This is the officially the longest live I've ever done for any of these interviews.
Let's see them questions. What
Yeah,
they saying?
nothing yet. Gotta wait for them to get back in here.
Oh, they gotta come back in.
Yeah, everyone's.
Yeah, that's the yeah. I knew I was gonna break that one.
That's crazy. Somebody told me that they want to do like a podcast for 45 minutes, and I was just like, you know how much content 45 minutes is? That's not even one Instagram live video. Do you have unreleased music with AKA Stogie?
Yeah, tons.
Tons. Do you have Black Thought on your upcoming album? It's talking about you, not me.
Is that the same person who asked the AKA
I
question?
think it was somebody else.
Do you think P. Dot O Steve? Huh? What is that?
What do you? He said, "What do you think about P.O, Steve?"
What do you think of P. Dot O Steve?
I had an interview with P. Dot that was very eye-opening. I did not think I was gonna like P. I really didn't. Because like the way he comes off in his music, I thought him and I were gonna clash. Because I had some things to say about his music that was less than flattering on some reactions. And like I always keep it real, you know what I'm saying? And like the style of music and the rhyme schemes weren't, you know what I'm saying? And then I sit down and I had this interview with this guy, and he's an entirely different person. He's just this awesome human being that I had like
Dude.
one of the best conversations, one of the best lives with, and I wish him nothing but success. Like that's my guy now. He was actually just talking to me. He was talking to me last night when I was fucking sending out the tweets and shit like that. And he was like, "Yeah, we got to hop on another one of these lives and do another one." So I have high thoughts on him.
Shout out to P. Dot O. Q&A, Q&A. I think you should pin Q&A, man.
All right, let me put it up there.
That dude you showed me that did the song with Benny.
Yes. Yeah, this is that guy that did that song with Benny.
That dude that did the song with Benny. I like that.
Who said that?
Cripple?
Kripal. Oh, he's actually he's a
Kripal.
Kripal. He's a hip hop artist as well out of Canada. He works with Mercules. That's one of Mercules' boys. That's who put me on there.
Where in Canada you from? Toronto?
I don't. You have to ask him. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh. Yo, Kripal, I was I toured Canada back when Kanan was doing this thing years ago, bro. Did BC, did Montreal, did Toronto, did the whole Quebec area. Yo, I put in some. I put in some time. I put in some time in your neck of the woods.
What'd you think about Lost Diamonds?
Dope, really dope. I there's a song in there where they're doing the whole gun bars thing, and and I was like, yo,
Banana
so we
clips.
banana clips. I was like, yo, so we shoot niggas in SA now?
I hit up Les. I think I hit both of them up right afterwards on Twitter,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, I'm ready to go rob somebody right now." Let's. I was like, "This shit make me ready to go rob somebody." I was like, "Let's go."
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a second listen for verse of the year. Just kind of sift through it, like comb through it now,
I think that the
and go
standout for me
through.
was the production value, man.
Yeah.
It sounds so clean,
Mm.
so clean, so crisp. Do you have an album date? We get another album from you?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet.
It's,
Okay.
I mean, it's almost done. The album's almost done. Pretty much almost done. But yeah, I don't know about album dates, man. Like this year's ugh.
Yeah, 2020 is a lot. It's a lot. Is there going to be another Freestyle Friday resurgence? I know your camera ain't freeze. You can just
I
say no
didn't.
comment. You can say no
I, di-
comment.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
In any way, shape, or form, is there going to be a resurgence of Freestyle Friday?
Yeah, that was only season one. But so yeah, you definitely get a um, yeah. But it's obviously we leveling up.
You know what I want to hear? This is my question for you too. You have intimate knowledge of all of the Freestyle Friday participants and stuff like that, right? If you had to give flowers for 5 people that impressed you with their Freestyle Friday verses, who would be the other 4 after me?
So you want a list of 4 people?
4 people, yeah. Who are second through 5th place? Who would you say impressed you?
So I thought Cap got me
Okay.
on the week that he was on. He was on a strong week as well. We had Ginger Trail. Yeah, I think he got me. I thought he was amazing. I also loved what's his name, Oswin Benjamin. Oswin just fucking murked to me for me.
I think
Um,
I have a bad starting with him. So like I know that he's super dope of an MC, but I
mm,
feel like I seen all the wrong things from him first. Because like
mm.
based on people's comments about how good he is, and based on what my review of him so far has been, like I think this is I was a victim of poor selection
In the beginning.
coming into him, yeah.
Yeah, I think that can be remedied with some. I mean, just listen to his album. I think that just listen to his album. That could be a good place to start. I like them too. Um, I liked this kid. I'll tell you now, kid called Abstract. I really like his shit. Um, and Gravity. Gravity to me was so fucking formidable. Like really, like it's just barking. I liked his shit. I like Envy shit. Envy was dope. Envy got that real Pretoria. Like I don't give a fuck
He
about
gets
anybody.
cosigns. PQ
Yeah,
cosigns him a lot.
yeah.
I haven't dove into him yet.
Yeah, yeah. Envy Questas Freestyle Friday was dope. Um, I was bulletproof that week, so I was like, yo, fuck everybody else, but Questa killed it. I was just bulletproof. It's probably my, yeah. I was bulletproof that week, but he fucking murked it. He murked it. Um, uh, we had this white dude. We had this white dude. I'm telling you about this white dude from the Netherlands.
uh,
From the Netherlands.
I'll wait and see when my 21 and me or whatever 23 and me comes back. Might have some Netherlands in me.
uh, yeah. I mean,
We
look,
had this white guy. He was just
you
angry
probably.
for no reason.
I love that. The last one. Oh my God. It's like, yo, why is this guy so mad? Damn.
Why is he yelling at everybody?
What a tone deaf dude. Nah, yo. Look, you. I mean, you definitely had, one of, if not the best lines of the whole series, man. You know, that radioactive shit is, it's fire to me, man. I fuck with that. But
See,
yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
funny
it was
because for me, the God's Eye line right before that, the second bar of that is one of my favorite I've ever wrote. That's one
really.
of my personal favorite ones because it's one of those ones where it's like it's playing to a specific audience and you have to know specific things for it to get to, and then if you know those things, it's still not spelled out for you. It's still up to you to put the dots together to realize he's calling himself God. Like it's there was a lot of things that were well crafted into that line that like after I wrote it, yo, fucking Bags will tell you too. Like I ran downstairs, I was like, yo, listen to this shit. I'm 2 lines into the verse, and I'm running downstairs. You hit me up to do the verse, and you were like, cool, it's due next week, right? And I was like, all right, I had that shit done in fucking 3 hours after I agreed to do that shit. Like
That's crazy.
I'm running
That's
downstairs like, yo,
crazy.
this God's outline is about to be. It's over. It's over
You
already.
actually remember you sent me. So usually when we do Freestyle Friday, we sent we. I mean, we knew ours was gonna be a cappella, but usually I send the beat out Monday, and then bro, like Thursday evening, I'm still waiting for people to submit. I'm like, yo, nigga, please just send me the shit. What the hell,
I know, right? That's
And
crazy
you
when you
send me
like
the shit.
you're putting together this whole project and you're waiting on verses and you just got like one or two people who just like hold up the entire production of it while you're waiting on it. And I
You
feel
didn't
you.
you, you didn't
I
give me
feel
a
you.
deadline. You didn't give me
I
a
feel,
deadline.
I feel,
What
'cause
advice do y'all have on getting organized when you're an aspiring musician?
have a hub.
Have a hub.
Ha-
Have a
Have a
hub where
hub.
all your information goes and all your music and work stays. Hey, shout out to you see who that Hannah. That's the real niggas. That's Hannah. She was on Freestyle Friday as well. She actually killed
Nice.
it. Her verse was dope. Yeah. What's your
Shout out
favorite
there.
line you've ever written?
Hold on.
Doesn't
I
have
want
to
to talk.
be.
I want to speak on that real quick for
Okay.
the advice one. Right. Here's the best thing that I can tell you for right now in the digital era that we're in right now. Learn, study, search engine optimization. I cannot push this off anymore. Like, or I cannot emphasize this anymore. Find out if the handle that you're going by, find out if it's used already in something. Like if someone goes to search you, are you going to be able to find? If your rap name is Steve, no one is going to be able to find you. There is a reason it's SteveBussaGS just like that. It's because when you look for that, that's what's going to come up. You dig me? Find that and then use the same handle and everything. Make it so that all roads end with you. Make sure that when someone is able to look for you, they are being pushed in a direction that will make you the most money, get you the most fans, get you the most clicks, and make sure that it is measurable. Because the worst thing you could do is have scattered stuff here, stuff there, and have somebody that genuinely wants to invest in your future not be able to get a hold of you, not be able to find your music, not be able to see that you're more than a one-trick pony, so on and so forth. That's my best piece of advice. I just wanted to elaborate on that real quick because that was a good question.
Great.
Stogie, do you fuck with Reese's music?
Yeah.
And somebody asked if you're an Eminem fan.
Yeah.
2 yeses. What else we got?
What's your favorite line you've ever written? Doesn't have to be the most lyrical, but one that really resonated. Hannah's asking that.
What's your favorite line?
Yo, yo. So
You
I'm
thought
gonna
verse of the
say,
year was hard. Shot
Jesus.
15 years.
Yeah. So I don't know about favorite line but I'll tell you a line from the recent cipher that I did for Steve. There's a line in there that um, I feel like was not might have gone overheads a little, right? So when I go Cypher Sorcerer, I'm talking Lord of the Rings, right? It's
That's the
like,
one that I told you was my favorite line.
all right, and I caught I think two reactions, and no one really, uh, well, let you know, reveal that they, you know, that I'm saying,
They
um,
fully conceptualized the idea. That they haven't
yeah,
broken it down.
yeah,
Like when
but
you think about a cipher, Lord of the Ring, you got the ring around a
right,
cipher.
some
Like they didn't like Wizard as in Lord of the Rings
absolutely,
also with the nerd side of it. Like
exactly,
there was a lot. So I like that shit because I like the geek shit, man. You put fucking nerd bars in something like I've never written a verse without some type of anime bar or some type of video game bar or something like that in it. Because
right,
that's
right,
just who I am. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard that
right.
shit, I was like, let's go. Was worth
I
waiting
got you.
for.
There's one more dimension to it as well. So the guy who wrote Lord of the Rings,
RL Token.
J.R.R. So I'm talking Lord of the Rings.
See, I don't. We talked. You did the same shit with the animals verse. I don't like those,
Ah!
man. I don't like those. I don't like those. I'm token. All right, all right. I see you, my guy. I see you.
Ah! Yeah, but I always hide them shits in there. So it's like, yeah, all right, whatever. uh, what else? What they saying? What they saying here? Who's your
Who's your
favorite
favorite
rapper
rapper in Cape
in
Town?
Cape Town? The guy whose name is Cape Town.
Yeah, somebody asked earlier. Do you see any collabs with Youngster coming up on the album or anything like that?
On my album?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a joint with him on the album. And now that Casper's got him, I probably won't because I just don't want to be like, oh, okay, you know, if everyone's heard the song Youngster done with Casper, you know. So I'm
Right.
like, yo, I just don't wanna, I don't wanna seem like even though I done mad joints with Youngster. Yeah. But I mean, yo,
Yo,
I'll do a joint tomorrow with Youngster. I mean, he's
bro,
fire.
the one that you did with him, that was on the journey. That shit was fucking the journey in France. Yo,
Yeah,
he,
he killed that,
I,
right?
I'm not a dancing person, and that
I
shit had
know,
me.
I
What
went,
the fuck?
I went, young man, but it's over, man. I was like, damn, yeah, I love
Yo,
that
he
shit.
killed the shit out of that. Yo, killed the shit out of that.
Yeah, yeah, he's fire.
I
He's amazing.
let me see what else we got here.
Someone see Achuma
I'm
boy
so
says
bad at this.
Lura is the best rapper in Cape Town. Lura's dope. Lura's dope, and
I
he
don't know,
knows I
Laura.
think he's dope. He's dope. He's really fire. He's got a project out as well, like a really dope project. But yeah, he ain't fucking with Youngster. I mean, and he knows I love him. I love Lura, but like, yeah, he ain't
Yeah,
fucking with
I haven't, I
Youngster.
haven't, I haven't found them yet. Did
Mm.
Stogie do science or commerce at school? I always hear a combination of both in his lines.
Nope.
What was your I don't know what do they call it, major? What was your focus?
Industrial psychology. So like, you know, sociology, like more the social sciences. And I didn't finish that stuff. I went on tour, you know, while I was doing my degree, and I was in a hotel room, and we had just finished the gig, and in the lobby, the band was, you know, kicking it with like, you know, Coldplay, members from the Roots, and I'm sitting here trying to study for this exam, and I called my mom. I said, "Yo, mom, it's a wrap. It's over. I'm closing these books. I'm done with this shit. I'm not doing this." And my thinking was, I'm gonna have to make this decision sometime in the future. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make it now.
Facts. Here's a good one. Do you look at a rapper's catalog before deciding to do a collab with them? Hold on, people start coming. Do you look at a rapper's catalog before deciding to do a collab with them, or what makes you decide to collab with them? Also, have you turned down features from big artists? I can answer for Stogie. I guarantee he's turned down fucking features from giant artists. That's just the thing that happens in the industry. Period.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk about your deciding your collab process.
You know, to me, it's like first I gotta be a fan. I just gotta like your shit. I gotta like your craft, and then second, it's the song decides. Sorry, the song decides it all. The song to me is like that dictates it. So, you know, I hear a song and I go, yeah, I need this voice on it. I need this energy on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely,
it.
bro.
So,
Who is there anybody that we would be surprised? Any collabs we would be surprised about coming up?
yeah. There's like two that would be surprising. But I mean, you know, I'm not doing them for shits and giggles, right? I'm like,
Right.
yo, I think like I'm very happy with the features I've gotten, but there's this one we're about to close that's like, oh, bro, this will this will cement a certain thing that I've always wanted cemented. It's like, yo,
Is
it's
it
like,
a American?
nah,
South African?
nah,
French?
nah.
Hmm. I'm gonna fuck with you about this afterwards. I want to know that. I'm curious. You know what I'm curious about? You and I have spoken about artist sensitivity to some great extents, and about certain artists who are particularly sensitive to being critiqued, so on and so forth, right? Who do you have on your list of like people that you can keep it 100 with? Like if when it comes to the music shit, when it comes to publicly or personally, like who's like who do you have a list of people that just like, yo, they respect my opinion, they know where it's coming from, they know it's a place of love, like they accept criticism well. Who do you have in that opposite category right there? Instead of artist sensitivity, who's got thick skin and a good head on their shoulders?
um, hmm. As in, like we're working together, or I just like say, "Yo, this is what I
Like
think
if
of your
like right
album."
now, yeah, exactly. Like people are like, what do you think of Casper's album? What do you think of this person's album? What do you think of
Right,
this? Like who do you
right.
know that you have permission almost, right, to speak freely and not worry about the consequences or anything like that? Because like I said, as a celebrity, as somebody who people value your opinion, we talked about earlier in the interview, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
there's a different gravity of responsibility with those
yeah.
responses.
I think I'm developing a relationship with Touchline where I could say to him, "Yo, I thought that was this or that was," you know what I mean? I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, um, where he can listen and go, "Yo, all right, cool, I hear you." Um, I think Nasty C as well, except I know Nasty C will look at me and go, "Man, I didn't ask you for your opinion, bro." But I think that he would, he would be like, "Yo, I hear you, G." Um, uh, Ricky, I think Ricky's someone I could be like, "Yo, man, I don't know," and then that just comes from a long-standing relationship. You know what I mean? Where
Right.
we did that.
Time in.
Huh?
Time in. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
time into the relationship.
absolutely.
All right, throw up some more questions. People are saying I miss questions. Yeah, because we're talking. So just keep putting questions up. That's how this works.
The song "Fuck Faces" with Nadia Nakai. How did you think of making a song like that, Stogie? I was just thinking of like,
Fucking faces.
no, man, of the faces you make when you're fucking. I just thought of like, oh
So
shit.
Stogie's got this big mirror on his ceiling above his bed.
It's so crazy because I was talking to Nadia this week about that song. I was like, yo, it's so crazy. People are wilding over her verse on the Casper album. And I was like, yo, our shit is so much more raunchy, Like, our shit is so much more raw. She
And what
she
was?
went in.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No, I I'm agreeing. We talked about this briefly. I think it was a different one too. I think
Yeah.
she bodied you and Nasty on the fucking John with what was the
All
John
you
with the
do is
three
talk.
going?
All you do is
Yeah,
talk with boy teeth.
yeah, yeah. She
You
caught
out
a
of your
body.
mind.
She caught a body on that one.
You out of your
I think
mind.
that might have been
She did a great job.
I think that might have been the very first one of hers that I heard off screen. So
Oh
she
yeah?
did, yeah. I think off screen that might have been. I was listening to the album in the car, and so like, what I had to roll the windows up. I was they gonna think I'm a fucking freak listening to this nasty shit. I'm in the
Yeah,
neighborhood. Like what?
yeah, that's so nasty.
Like what the fuck? Stogie, why do you think J. Cole is not top 10?
He just doesn't have enough for me. He doesn't have enough.
There you
He's
go.
dope. He's fucking fire, but he's not. He's not top 10. Better than
We're
Qualito.
top 50. Top 50. You got him.
Nah, I think he's top 20.
Top 20.
Yeah,
I'm not a Cole fan personally.
yeah.
Um,
I think
so
I think he's, you know, I think he gets in top 20.
I feel like SA really fucks with Cole. His name comes up a lot in my conversations in general with South African hip hop fans. Cool G Rap or MF Doom? Cool G Rap is gonna get picked.
Yeah, with a
Ne-
K.
Uh, what's your relationship with AKA?
My guy.
I feel like if they're asking that question, they don't follow the lives.
Okay. Now I'm super curious. Where are the ciphers y'all keep talking about?
Oh, Steve
Talk your shit.
GS, right? Go to my YouTube page. That is the whole reason that any of this became possible to begin with. So what I did is I started an initiative. First it started off as just reactions. Then at 1,000 subs, I was like, yo, maybe I'll show y'all a couple bars because if I'm going to critique you guys, I also wanted to show that I am able to be critiqued and that I'm not sensitive and I'm, you know what I'm saying? So I pointed that reflective camera back at me. And then through relationship building, so on and so forth, I started putting out the DVD ciphers. So there's 2 ciphers that I put out. DVD Cipher Volume 1 is me, Stogie T, Black Corleone, Merkums, and Hunter Kufis. And then the I'm Just a Reactor cipher is me 5 times. So there's just 5 verses of me that I'm gonna pull for things like when I do the Freestyle Friday or when I do this for this, I do this. I'm put them all in one place just so that I can just so it's there so people who are interested. So there's a centralized hub, and you don't got to go and look over here and look over there and look over there for my verses. That it's all in one place for everybody. So look up SteveBussaGS on YouTube.com. Link is in the description in my fucking Instagram page.
Ooh, I like this one. Stogie, top 5 films.
Ooh.
Uh, American Beauty, Seventh Samurai, The Big Kahuna, Malcolm X, and Toy Story.
One?
Huh? One.
One?
Yeah.
I'm going Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Train Spotting.
Good movie.
The Last Samurai. Army of Darkness. Get my
What's that?
camp. Army of Darkness. It's super campy. Bruce Campbell. He got a guy with the arm chopped off and puts a chainsaw there instead. He's got
Okay.
this is my boomstick. Like that. I grew up on that shit. And then I'm gonna go like Talladega Nights. Talladega Nights for my comedy pick. I've watched Talladega Nights 1,000 times.
I'm watching that tonight. I'm watching that right now. After this, I'm watching Talladega Nights. I'm watching that.
Yo.
I'm watching that now. Oh no. I always mistake Talladega Nights for Pineapple Express for some reason. Just the names. It's so weird. But Talladega, that's
Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell and
right?
J.R. Riley.
You thought that was better than is Talladega better than Brothers?
So yes,
Is Talladega better than the news anchor joint?
It's debatable.
Yeah, I don't think it's better than the news anchor joint.
It's debatable. Anchorman.
Anchorman?
Yeah, it's debatable. It's
Look at
debatable.
these
See,
guns. I don't know, bro. I don't
I had a whole summer though, bro. Wyco Street had a whole summer where Talladega Nights was just on repeat in the living room while the rest of the craziness was going on. All right, grab some more questions. I'm afraid to touch this thing. Keeps trying to kick me out.
Stogie, when are you uplifting underground musicians?
It's a good question, Stoke.
That's a terrible question. Go on my Instagram. Scroll down on my Instagram. All you find is underground rappers. What do you think of A. Reese's upcoming album? What is there to think? It's upcoming. Sidetrack. I know Stogie is a big NBA fan. Who does he think will win the finals between Lakers and Heat? Do we even know that the Heat is in the finals?
I don't follow sports. You lost me on this one.
Yeah. Look, I wish do we even know that the Heat is in the final? I'd like to see a Lakers Celtics final just because of history, and I would love for Boston to win, but I don't fuck with LA. Lakers, not LA. LA. Book me, please.
Book me, please. Open for business. Open for business.
Yo, we out.
Are you able to travel still? Or is traveling still locked down?
I can travel. I can come to Philly tomorrow, bro. I got the 10-year visa. I can be there in like 2 days, bro.
No, I meant because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's all open still? Okay.
Yeah, it's open now. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've been on lockdown. Music videos. You getting out of here?
Nah, I'm out of here. I got no more.
All right, bro. Hit me up. I want to talk more about the Battle League stuff and oh, you got some bars? You got some bars? You leaving with some bars? This slime's at. Get it? No.
Nah, nigga.
Yeah.
Alright, yo.
Them 4 a.m. bars. All right, bro. I'll talk to you.
Respect, bro. Yo, love.
I appreciate you, man. For real.
Alright.
Later. Appreciate you guys coming to check it out. Super dope interview. I think I might separate the Q&A. Nah, I'll probably just throw the Q&A at the end of it. Longest interview we did yet. 5K. Shout out to the whole GS gang. Shout out to everybody that came, asked questions, got to kick it with us. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Another interview. I think I have interviews for like the next 2 or 3 weeks already lined up. So more shit coming out too, man. Nothing but peace and love to everybody. Get some sleep if you're on the other side of the world. And I'll catch you guys on the next one, man.